Hey, Gator. How you doing, man?
I don't know, man. Sometimes I just don't know what the hell I get myself into. I got called out, man, on the Guardian Hub podcast this week. Sin and Kingsley Mack, who, as our listeners may know, were the co-leaders for a long time on our SpeedRun. And they said I was trying to help Zan win. I don't understand, man. I don't know. This is something that, Sin and Kingsley didn't know, but I messed up last week, and it's not my question reading. I lost my place on my page. Zan actually had 1.5 seconds to 2 seconds left to even to even answer maybe one more question. I don't know, man. I created this contest, to just have like a friendly competition, and it just seems like I've created a monster, man.
Yeah, I know, man. I don't know what the hell happened, but fucking today, I got a letter in the mail. It was like 600 pages long, and it was from this fucking attorney group called Ikora Caden Zavala or some shit.
What?
And they were saying, I know, man. And it was from Sin and Kingsley, and they went out and seek legal representation and bullshit about this because I don't know how long they've been sitting on this, but I think that they've been like just waiting for them to lose so that way they could just hit us with this. But there was all kinds of like legalese in here and shit like this, like ex parte, like proceed and shit like this. And I was like, what the fuck is all this bullshit? So, I mean, I think that we gotta probably just give in and just let them have another shot at it. I don't know, man.
Well, I can tell you this. That's bullshit.
But, what happens if I win?
Oh, hey, Des.
Oh, shit.
How you doing, buddy?
Hey.
Shit.
Buddy, how you doing, man?
Damn, I didn't even know you were in here.
Good.
Hey, when did you get here?
Yeah, I've been around. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Awkward. Yeah, why don't we play?
Hey,
Yeah.
hit the music.
Yeah,
I'm
I
fine with
agree.
that.
I agree, man. Let's hit the music.
Guardian down.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Thanks for hanging out with us tonight. Welcome to episode 63 of Guardian Downcast. We're a couple dads that talk about all things in the Destiny universe, and we interview content creators and community members to find out more about them. All of this while trying not to take ourselves too seriously and having some fun along the way. I'm your host, The Gator, and my co-host, Hazel Nut, is here as well. How's your week been, man?
This week has been had highs and lows. So Sunday I went out. My wife was like, "Hey, can you pick up like some apples and an onion and some other random thing?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, no problem." So I went out. I just was walking around, saw a guy. He was pushing a cart over to electronics. He had 3 Nintendo Switches on it. So yeah, I left with trying to pick up 3 things and came back with a Nintendo Switch and 2 things. So hey, that was a nice little surprise for me.
Wait a minute. Was this guy homeless that had the cart with 3 Nintendo Switches in it?
Store, man.
Okay, I'm trying to... You said there was a guy with a cart with 3 Nintendo Switches in it. I'm like, was he like selling them on the side or something?
No, he wasn't selling them out of the back of a truck or nothing.
Okay, all right.
It was actually like legit. He was at the grocery store and things like this. So
You can say, look at the console, say,
yeah,
well,
so
look at the console, say, why does it say Nintendo Man instead of Nintendo? Anyway.
Nintendo Man.
Sorry,
yeah.
inside joke.
Exactly.
Sorry.
But yeah, so we've been playing Nintendo Switch, and it's been pretty fun. My daughter's been having fun playing Let's Go Eevee. My wife was getting mad, cussing at the TV, playing Mario. So yeah, that's been some highs right there, and then lows. Our washer died. So yeah.
Good old home
So,
ownership.
yeah, we're gonna...
Gotta love it.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, we're gonna get that fixed and all that fun home ownership type stuff. So, how about you, man?
Yeah, we bought a washer. My wife was so irritated because they break so fast. They're just so cheaply made now. She puts the date in a Sharpie on the back of the washer, just so we can track exactly. So then we know when our 10 years is up, it's time to start saving up for a new washer. It's so crazy, man. It's been a good week, man.
It lasts 10 years, huh?
10 years is what our last one, and that was a Kenmore. It was like a super Kenmore. I mean, it was a top of the line steam dryer matching washer. It was a nice one, but they took a dump. Sensors, man. Sensors are what go bad in these things now. Hey, welcome to Appliance Talk.
I think ours lasted 4 years. So.
Oh my God, that's nothing. That's terrible, man.
No shit, man. Yeah.
Wow. I've already got a washer that's that old. Let's not bore our listeners with washer talk. My week's been good in a nutshell. I had my state inspection for my pest management company this week, and that was fun. I had to clean my office and my truck, and my wife was ever so pleased. And 2 hours later, it was over. So that was happening. Good week. Our rain's finally clearing up. It's starting to actually had one cool day, really nice weather, and now it's hot and muggy again. So there's that. Well, hey, enough about us. I want to introduce a special guest we have tonight. He's the latest co-host of the Guardian Hub podcast, and we're looking forward to knowing more about him, especially me. A good friend of the show, Mr. DeSRaven. How are you, sir?
I am doing, as Sin would say, magical.
Oh, God. I wake up in the middle of the night. Magical! Hey, man, good to hear. Good to hear. Well, just a quick overview of tonight's show. First, we're going to hear more about DeSRaven and his story, see what he's up to. Hazel's going to go over the TWAB for the 16th week of Season of Arrivals. Yeah, 5 weeks left, buddy. 5 weeks left. We're almost there. We might also mention a few other things in the Destiny universe. I have a sales pitch for all you out there fretting over the next gen console craze. And Hazel and DeSRaven hopefully will chime in as well. Finally, we're all going to answer questions from our community and add 2 songs each to our award-winning Guardian Downcast show playlist on Spotify and iTunes. Everyone ready?
As I'll ever be.
Let's do this.
Hey, Des.
Hey.
Hey, just want to say thank you for coming on as the illustrious third member of the Guardian Hub. So, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Thank you. It's an honor.
Actually, I mean, I've known about you for probably longer than, I've known about you well before the Guardian Hub and all of that, but we'll get into that, I promise. So, but we'll start with this. So tell us a little bit about yourself, man.
About myself.
Where'd you grow up? That kind of thing.
Oh, where did I grow up? Good God, you wouldn't go that far. That's a chain of events all in and of itself. Like, sweet Jesus. I can give you the rundown because I was born in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, actually. But my parents divorced when I was 2. So Mom ended up moving to Alabama, where I lived most of my life in various cities. Selma, Montgomery, Opelika, Auburn, Tallahassee. So yeah, Southern boy.
Where that you like the best? That you'd recommend? Back on it,
I mean, if you're gonna legitimately, if you're looking for any kind of amenities and nothing that's like cozy, you might want to stick with like Birmingham for Alabama or something, because everywhere else is small by comparison, basically.
Well, okay, so we know where you grew up and kind of what your childhood was like, but where do you call home now, Des?
Right now, for about the past year and a half, almost 2 years, we've been living in Seneca, South Carolina.
So you're near Zan and Ben.
Yes.
Awesome.
It was actually his first appearance that had me realize how close we were. It's just like super weird.
Very cool.
That I'm that close.
Man, that's
I could almost
neat.
touch him. Almost.
See, bringing people together.
It's a coincidence. From history, a former co-host, myself, and Zan have birthdays within a 3-day stretch.
Hmm.
And it's hilarious because it's sequential because Zan's the 11th, mine's the 12th, and my co-host was the 13th.
Wow.
So it's oof.
It's kind of weird, yeah.
Right.
Coincidence like that. Huh. So, I think I've heard that you have a wife and kid.
Yes. I have been married for 12 years this year.
Oh, congratulations.
Daughter is 16.
Oh, wow.
17, my bad.
Oh, did you just get corrected on live? On air?
Yes.
Oh,
yes, for sure. That's my wife.
Don't worry, I'm used to it.
I lose track of if I wasn't 36 this year, I would not know how old I was. I don't keep track of ages.
I don't either, man.
I think it's a guy thing.
Right?
I don't know.
Well, hey, Des, what do you do for a living? What do you do to pay the bills?
Nothing at all interesting, sadly. I am like pure white collar. I stare at plastics basically all day. A variety of power window housing, switch housing, like bases and crap for components for certain cars. Parts for, well, I mean, it's plastic, so I mean, there's a bunch of plastics out there, right? I mean,
yeah, that's for sure.
I've had to pack and stare at parts, like I said, automotive to refrigerator racks. So if anyone's bought a Frigidaire in the past year, there might be a little of myself on a rack. Just saying.
Nice.
That's cool. It's not creepy at all.
No, not at all. Didn't sound creepy either. No, we're good.
Take it as you will.
I think we just found the title of the show. DeSRaven is on your rack. Oh, okay. That's funny.
All right. Well, sir, that's a pretty cool job, though. It sounds very, very boring. No, I'm just kidding.
No, it is. Legitimately, it is very, very boring.
So, well, then let's get on to the interesting stuff then. So, the question I know that you've been dreading. Okay. What was your earliest moment in gaming?
Sort of, kind of, yes, but actually this is an incredibly easy answer for me. And it's layers because I kind of preluded, in the chat I kind of preluded, as I've said, even though I'm only 36, I have like a 30-year history in gaming. Mm-hmm. Because one of my earliest, in fact, is even one of my earliest memories, period, that I can like safely recall. Because again, my parents divorced when I was small, but it was an age range of when I was between like 4 and 6. My sister had actually come down to stay with us for a while. And one of my earliest memories is just like she came down, she brought her Atari. And so like it's me, my mom, my brother, my sister, and we're like huddled around this TV playing Pac-Man.
Oh, good times.
And yeah, it's just like, I don't know. I mean, that's, like I said, it's one of the earliest memories I could like safely recall at any time. And it just happens to involve gaming. Go figure.
That's awesome. I mean, I had a similar thing like that too, where I was in the course of like starting this up, I was trying to go through and like trying to picture my first moment in gaming and things like that. And I remembered like after that, like after he talked about it, I'm like, you know what? That really wasn't my first moment in gaming. For me, it was actually like my cousin. He lived like an hour away from us and he bought an Atari with his own money from like doing like car washes and stuff like that. And playing River Raid on an Atari and just like, oh, wow. My parents were not impressed.
Of course.
Well, I mean, you mentioned your very first game. Where did you go from there? Were you a child of Xbox, PC, or PlayStation? Where to go after Atari?
It went NES.
Okay.
My parents, we weren't like super well off, but we had our moments basically. But
Sure. Yeah.
I think because the way they got it is like super sketchy, but
Who cares? It was in your living room, right?
Back of a truck kind of thing.
I mean, the newspaper like wanted that. I think I'm not entirely sure. Like, I don't know the exact details because I was like 7,
Sure.
so I didn't care. But dude like shows up at the house. He brings the Nintendo. They check it out, and it's like, hey, you can get this in like 2 games with it. And I'm like, oh, cool, I get this. So being the ever crafty, now this is how smart I was at 7. Out of all of the games, they of course had the Mario Duck Hunt combo cartridge, and of course, if I picked that, I got a light gun to go with it, so I could play Duck Hunt.
Brilliant.
So that was easy. That was easy choice number 1. Because it's like, oh, I get something extra with it. Yeah, I'm gonna take that. Whatever Super Mario Brothers is, right? But and then I always get foggy on because there was like 3 games I played. I always get foggy on the second one, but I swear it was Metroid for Nintendo. But I cannot confirm or really deny that. But like, I watch like speedruns of like Super Metroid and like the recreation of the last fight from Metroid. There's something about that architecture that's always super familiar to me, and I don't. So that's where I get the association from. But the third choice was Gauntlet.
Oh, I love that game. 4v4,
Right?
4-man co-op. I remember that game.
Yep. And I started playing that, and it looked cool. But all of a sudden I hear Red Warrior needs food badly. And I'm like, oh my God, this game talks to you. I want this one. So yeah.
That game was intimidating in the convenience store. They had a gauntlet everywhere. And it just it looked very I came from Asteroids and Space Invaders, and all of a sudden I see this big gauntlet where you're going around all these mazes and stuff, and it intimidated me, man. I didn't play it at first.
Oh, I never ever beat it, and I don't think I made it past like the first 10 levels.
Yeah, it was a tough game.
But by God, I tried, and I listened to Red Warrior is about to die many, many times.
That is great. Oh man, what's funny is I remember games as I start listening to gaming podcasts more and more, it starts opening up my memory as far as games, and I start remembering the game sounds. And like when I listened to that gaming documentary on Netflix, just the memories just started flooding in. I'm like, oh my God, I never even mentioned this game or that game. And God, it's just amazing how many games that you don't remember playing but really impacted your life when you were younger,
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. So, what types of games were you into before Destiny?
Yeah.
BD,
Believe it or
ND. Yeah.
I mean, believe it or not, I was not a shooter dude. Like, ever at all. Really. There was one instance of it, but predominantly I'm an RPG player.
Okay.
Like, Final Fantasy is my utter and complete most favorite franchise of all time. To the effect that where that game goes, that's what console I'm getting next.
All right, so you have to help me out here then, Des, since you're an avid player. Zan told me that 7 was the one to start on. Do you agree with that?
The new 7.
Well, remastered, yeah.
It's not a bad place to start. 7 Remastered is most definitely a definitive 7 experience.
Okay.
It is the best 7 experience for the characters, for sure. Because, I mean, the original Final Fantasy VII was kind of a miracle game because it changed no less than like 4 major times than when it shipped. Now, if you've seen anything about it, of course, main character is this blonde-haired or spiky-haired blonde guy with this giant sword in a place called Midgar. Okay. And the original idea of Final Fantasy VII was going to follow a New York City detective named Vincent who took supernatural cases. And that's why I say it's a miracle game, because for the amount of times it changed in development, it is a miracle that it was as cohesive as it was. But again, for like the definitive experience, because they have the I guess the 2020 of, not the year, but oh god, hindsight. There we go.
Right.
I forgot which part of that saying applied to the site. But anyway, but thanks to the hindsight of like years of expanding the lore and getting the story like really set, that's where 7 Remake really shines, because you really see like the characterization and the character of everything. And it is tied. 7 Remake is actually tied for one of my favorite Final Fantasy of all time.
5. Wow. Okay.
And the thing is that you need to take note of there, Gator, is that this is only part 1 of,
yes.
I mean, seemingly, easily like maybe 4, 5 parts, possibly.
I think Square is hinting at 3-ish. But of course, industry experts are saying 2 because they can't really afford 3 and 4 parts.
Okay.
But who knows? They might be crazy enough to try it.
And final question on Final Fantasy: is it on PC?
7R will be in probably about another 6 months.
Okay.
It is a timed exclusive for PlayStation right now.
All right. The reason I asked that is it's gonna tie in with what I talk about later. I just want to know that. Okay.
But I will say the original 7, 8, and 9 are all available on Steam, I do believe.
Okay, good to know.
And each one of those are, I mean, as they told you last week, they're all their own self-contained stories.
Mm-hmm.
And 7, 8, 9, those 3 are definitely not bad to start on. I mean, my personal favorite is 6, but that's, if you have a smartphone, you can download it there and play it, but it's nowhere like major.
I love Steam. I love Steam. It's such a great place to get games. I'm a novice. I'm new to this, but that's why I was curious to know. Thank you. I knew you were I knew you were the man to talk to on Final Fantasy. So every time I tune into the Discord, DeSRaven is playing Final Fantasy. I don't know, whatever number. I can't even keep track.
Oh no, that's that, which I think I forgot my Discord is connected to my phone,
yeah, mine too.
That's Brave Exvius. That's actually, you may not be familiar with the term, but that's a gacha.
Oh, okay.
And gacha, well, it's a Japanese term for basically I'm going to take your money, essentially.
Okay.
But
I've seen that term.
Basically, yeah, but it comes from gashapon, which is an onomatopoeia. It comes from, for us, what would basically be quarter machine, like little capsule toys and crap. It's supposed to be like the sound it makes whenever you put the coins in, and when the capsule drops, the gacha and the pawn. But now it applies to mobile games that are basically like card games, but you get little units for summoning, and of course you have to use real money, and boy, that's where they get your real money. So yeah, I'm kind of addicted to those too.
Sorry, I didn't mean to dominate the interview. I just was curious. So.
Well, no, I was thinking about those gacha games because there was one game that I played on my cell phone, and that gave me that. I saw that term, and I was like, I don't know what the hell that means, but I'll put my coin in, and I'll turn the knob and see how it goes. And now it all makes sense.
It's that dopamine, hit, right?
Yeah, I mean, essentially, and it's kind of, I know certain countries, like with the loot box ordeal, that happened, years ago, that actually backlashed to a lot of gacha games because of certain practices that were really sketchy. Well, not really sketchy. Like certain gachas used to have a bonus, like, oh, fill out this part of the, summon everything from this list, and you can get a bonus. There are like 2 or 3 countries that really don't like that idea. So thankfully gachas have stopped doing that since then.
I have so much to learn, clearly. I know now. I did play Final Fantasy when I was younger, but I went straight into shooters. I went the opposite direction you did, Des. So I want to get into these though, because when I heard turn-based, my ears perked right up. I love turn-based games. So.
Ooh, well then, yeah, you
Yeah,
better play some of the classics then.
Yeah, they're getting away from that.
Oh,
Yes.
Okay.
To the effect that Final Fantasy 16,
Hmm.
the guy that basically directed the combat for Devil May Cry 5,
Oh, wow.
that's who's doing the combat for Final Fantasy 16.
Oh, okay.
Because it was about a year ago that he left Capcom, and apparently Square Enix gobbled him right up.
So it'd be safe to say if I went turn-based, if I got 7 remastered, I'd still have that, right?
There actually is an option to, it's called Classic Mode.
Okay.
It kind of, if I'm not mistaken, I think it kind of sets things on easy, but it lets all of the action stuff happen automated. So all you have to worry about is when your ATB fills, to select an action and do it. So it's super semi-turn based, but they do have something that can facilitate that style.
Okay. Thank you. I don't know much about this game, so I mean, don't send me hate mail, folks. I went another direction. Okay, when I was younger, I played more shooters. So, all right, I'm over with my questions. I promise.
No. That was good stuff, though. That was good stuff. It put a big smile on my face, though, because it's fun to hear Des and somebody who knows what the hell they're talking about.
Yeah.
All right. Well, sir, what type of gaming communities have you been in before this?
Oh boy, not to bring up Final Fantasy again this soon, but I did basically, like, that was my first, I guess, peek into a gaming community. I never actually, like, would call myself a part of that community. Because through the years of just, like, going through the forums and just, like, checking things out, that community needs a lot of help. A lot of help.
What do you mean?
Well, this is a community that 9 times out of 10, whatever newest Final Fantasy releases, most of the community agrees it sucks, and whatever Final Fantasy came out 3 releases ago is the best ever.
Oh, wait a minute! It's kind of like Destiny. No, I'm just
actually no. I've made direct comparisons to the majority of the Destiny community and the Final Fantasy community.
We're a tough community. That's for sure.
I have made those comparisons.
Well, now you're not a shooter guy. Well, how the hell did you run into Destiny then?
Oh, I've had some shooter experience before Destiny and before The Last of Us, actually, because that was probably as I bought a PS4, because I had a PS3 and I was watching some things. Ended up getting The Last of Us for PS3. Yeah, for PS3, and I joined this splinter of The Last of Us community because it has a strong multiplayer presence. Yeah, but that's third person, almost survival, very different. But before that, the only shooter that I really spent time playing, I mean a lot of time, was the original Unreal Tournament back in 2002. Yeah. So yeah, that's my from from about 0405 to Destiny 1 was my gap in really dedicated shooter playing. And when the thing is, because also when I was playing Unreal Tournament, I was on PC at the time, so using a controller to shoot people, that was all new to me. So yeah, it was. But of course, being the socialite, let's say intoxicating substances socialite I was at the time. Back when the 360 released and a little before, of course, Halo was a party game, basically.
Yeah.
But years later, I find out Bungie. Who's Bungie? Oh, they made Halo. I played Halo on PC a bit, and played with my friends. Maybe I'll give this Destiny thing a try. So I started following a little bit. because I didn't really even find out about Destiny to probably like the E3 before the year before the beta, I think.
Right.
And then of course I started reading about it, and I wasn't actually, because being fairly also new in like buying console games, I didn't understand that when certain people say you have to pre-order the game to get the beta, that's basically a lie, because good God was it for the original Destiny. Because if you pre-ordered and got a beta key and someone used that beta key, you got emailed more beta keys to just pass out. So I had a friend who had pre-ordered. He was part of the Last of Us community with me, and that's kind of like that streamer community was what I kind of went forward with. But he actually had a spare. He was going to raffle off a PS3 and a PS4 beta key, and he's like, "Des, you don't have a beta key?" I'm like, "Nah." So you want one? Sure. Here you go, man. Thanks. So I downloaded the beta. My friends made a Titan and a Warlock, so I went Hunter to round out the team because I'm good guy Phil, and basically fell in love once I stabbed the first Dreg in the face with my knife.
Very cool, man.
I could see that.
So yeah,
It's a great sound.
like the punch animation just has you like shank a guy. It's like, I'm in love.
Yeah, it's the one thing
And
I
then,
love
like,
about Hunters.
Yeah, and then 5 minutes later, you unlock the melee ability, and it's throwing your knife at someone's face. Please,
Yeah.
I was all over that.
Who needs a gun?
Right?
So old.
So yeah, that's me coming across Destiny.
Well, okay, so you have a past in podcasting. When did you decide to go into that?
I will say, podcasting was not the first choice, of course. I just want, like, because of course I have a bunch, like, pretty much every average Joe, shout outs to average Joe, but just like any average Joe, I felt I had opinions. Of course I have opinions, but I felt that they were different, because this was, let's see, Taken King was out when we started, but it was basically the January of that year, because my income taxes came back, and I asked my wife, she let me, and I spent a large portion in getting like what I called the YouTuber kit, which was a nice microphone. I say nice, but nice and cheap. A bare minimum laptop and a capture card. And I was going to make YouTube videos. Yep, that's what I was going to do. My YouTube channel is still up, and yeah, the first one's like you can tell when I start, I sound awful. I mean, it's monotone. It's just awful. It's bad. It's awful. If you want to laugh at me, you can go ahead and watch it. But yeah, that's what I was gonna do. Is I was gonna do the YouTube thing, and I'm gonna like play these games. I'm gonna give like a healthy, positive, thought out opinion, right?
Mhm.
Because Destiny it was starting to miss that mark. Like, like community negativity is always the loudest, but I just felt like there was like basically there was a lot of entitlement at the time, and just surrounding games in general. And it's like the bat signal went off, and I had to do something, right? But apparently YouTube wasn't going to be it, and I mean I still tried for a while, but it was the great omnigul farm of Destiny 2.
Ah, yes.
And I was in the Destiny Reset podcast at the time, group, clan, thing at that point in time, which I had been a long-standing member of Derp at that point in time. So, to the effect, fun fact, it was actually what hilariously became Guardian Games. DRP actually did a Masterclass Cup tournament There was a PvP tournament where you would team up with your class and see who would basically come out on top. Shocker, just like Guardian games, Titans won because they literally outpopulated everybody. But anyway, it was me, Unique, and Holden who threw that together. It's like I said, just for context. And so, great on Nickel Farm. Dude tries to get, 2 others just so we can all try and get that grasp of Malak, which ended up, of course, being what he would become known as Buster Knuckle. We farmed many, 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 many hours with who would become our 3rd co-host, the Businessman. And it was many, many hours. We were just, waiting on supers just before the moment, basically. Talking about lore in between, talking about a bunch of Destiny stuff, talking this, talking that. So it was less than a week after that, I get a message on Discord. Hey, I'm thinking about starting a podcast. You want in? Sure. And history was made. So yeah.
Boy, Hazel's still regretting saying yes to me that long ago.
It seems like it was just yesterday.
I never knew you were part of Derp, Des. That's good to know, man.
Yes. I was part of Derp I was part of Derp pre-Discord. I was part of the GroupMe group.
Wow. That's
with I do believe Burning and of course Holden, Unique,
Yeah.
There's a few of us around, but yeah, it's something rare and special to find one of us.
Well, let me ask you this. I got to ask it, Hazel. Dude.
Probably.
What's up with the gamer tag?
Oh, years and years of thought and decryption, sort of, but not really. But no, Des, as a lot of people know, is spelled very, very weird because it is not, of course, short for, like Desmond or anything.
That's what I was thinking, yeah.
Yeah, it is an acronym. The E is thrown in there basically for style and to help the pronunciation.
Okay.
But it is that, and I'm glad I didn't go with DeSRaven because only a couple years after I formed this tag, the DS would have been coming out from Nintendo. So kind of glad I dodged that bullet.
Oh, that's true. That's right.
So yeah, it was supposed to be DeSRaven, which is a shortening of probably one of the first nicknames that had ever been given, which pulls back into Unreal Tournament. Because again, that was my casual game, and if I just wanted to kill time, I'd load up a bot game, set them on easy or normal or whatever, and jump through the map, just murdering bots left and right with the freaking pistols, and
that's called
right as rain.
That's called practice.
I mean, you call it that, but whatever.
Okay.
For me, that was unwinding until some lucky bot would get the kill on me. So, thusly, I would activate the cheats. I would give myself all weapons. I would give myself infinite ammo. Well, not infinite ammo, but max ammo. I would equip the minigun from Unreal Tournament. I would ignore everyone and track this one bot down, pull the trigger, and not let go until that minigun expended all of 999 rounds into his body. Oh my
god, that felt good, I bet.
Yes.
Doesn't sound like anger management.
That's what video games do, man.
So one of my roommates at the time witnessed one of my murderous rampages and made the comment that's man, it's like you got a death switch. And so I was given the name Death Switch.
That's awesome.
Nice.
I never would have guessed that.
Yeah. Raven came from...
Is it from the movie?
What movie?
The Raven?
No. In The Crow?
The Crow? Yes. Yeah.
No.
But
different bird. But yeah.
Ixnay that. Never mind.
But no, Raven, like I said, early internet was a very weird place.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people are seeing it now, with the the Twitter, like, especially in the Destiny community, the Twitter, like, roleplay accounts, where people take up the mantle of, like, Shin Malphur and people like that in lore.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, play them out.
Right.
Well, back in early 2002, in the glory days of the MSN chat rooms,
Wow.
we used to call that persona role-playing. And I had a character who was strangely half demon and half vampire. Don't ask, just roll with it.
Okay.
Yes, he was Vaniel Salazar de Fanel. And for a time, he went into a phase where he was a mercenary / assassin that went by Raven, who was directly inspired from the character from Tekken 4, Raven.
Ah, okay.
So, yes, that's both aspects of my gamer tag and all of their nerdy glory.
I think that's the best explanation we've ever had, Hazel.
Yeah. I thought he was going to say his last name was Raven, and it would have been like,
well, it's just my name. It's just my name.
No.
Yeah.
Neither aspect. I'm like completely from the norm when it comes to gamer tags because neither aspects come from any form or fashion of my name.
That's in my top 5 explanations. I love it.
Nice. Yeah.
Oh, and the reason also I threw in the E for DES is because it came from Death Switch. For those that played Yu-Gi-Oh, you would know certain cards like Des Locuta, which, like I said, there's certain cards that start with Des, which was a romanization of, or I guess a weird localization of the romanization for the way you say death in Japanese, which would be Desu.
Yeah.
So that's why it's DES.
Learn something every day.
To tie into the Death Switch, so it's DeSRaven.
Wow.
Nice.
That is so freaking deep, man.
Yeah,
no, I mean, that took a lot of thought, man. I love it.
Yeah, I overcomplicate things very well.
No, I love it. That's what makes you, man. I love it.
I'll allow it.
He is the QCE.
Yeah, just ask the 600-page brief that I got from Ikora Caden Zavala. So, all right. Wow, that was fantastic. And I feel like a complete tool now for calling you Des for like all those years.
Yeah, because everyone latches onto Raven, people latch on to Des, but yeah, it's either or.
Yeah, well, I just remember drafting. He told me that, and I was like, cool.
Wasn't there a video game character named Death Switch? Was it Twisted Metal?
There was Deathstroke. I mean, there was Deathstroke.
Well, yeah, Deathstroke.
DC Comics, but
yeah. So think of it as a video game.
And then there was the band Killswitch Engage.
Oh yeah, I know that band. Yeah, I could have sworn there was a Death Switch. I could have sworn there was a Death Switch.
Rare crossover between them.
Maybe
that's right, but. Yeah, I don't know, because the only person legitimately I know from Twisted Metal is Sweet Tooth.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I've never really played them, but of course, who doesn't know about Sweet Tooth, the psychopathic murderous
that was
clown that rides an ice cream truck.
It was a great story. I played that so many times. I owned all those games. I loved Twisted Metal. The stories were so twisted, too. It was just great. All right.
Oh, I wouldn't doubt it.
Sorry, Hazel.
No, I'm just laughing. I was looking actually to see if there was a character named Death Switch anything, and it just went into a computer stuff. So
just a rambling old man. Never mind. Just ignored me.
All right, we'll do. So Mr. Raven, then let's go with this. So, are you a PvE guy or PvP guy? Sounds like PvE.
Uh-oh.
Okay, there we go. Sorry.
No, I got quiet. It got definitely quiet. I was like, "Whoa, what just happened?"
I know, right?
Did I just have a stroke?
Super.
I'm like, did I just have a stroke? Am I just seeing a blank screen here? What's going on?
I know everything went super quiet for that second. That was awkward. Oh my god,
eerily quiet.
I was like I thought you were gonna say something, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Certainly when I started playing Destiny, it was definitely PvE. Definitely PvE. It was PvE all day.
Sure.
But of course, again, I came from a community, a streamer community that was around an aspect of a multiplayer third-person shooter. So of course, I had a bunch of PvP friends. And back then I was getting like 0.4s, 0.5s, and 0.6s on good matches. That was awful. But no, from these same people, we did, we had like 8 people that would usually, and I was unemployed at the time. So like when the raid came out, we knocked it out like 3 times every Tuesday, Wednesday. I mean, it just happened. Because again, we had a bunch of people that we knew that we could cycle out from. There seemed to always be at least 6 of us on. So yeah, I was pretty hardcore PvE. At least until around the same time I joined Derp and finally worked up to an even 1.0 true KD in D2. So I'm kind of a mix. I mean, that and I used to like lurk in on the like Crucible Playbook Reddit, which is where I ran across King Koala and what would be the Crucible Book Club stuff. If you can still find it on the Reddit, like looking up because I found him on, it was like applying the art of war to Destiny PvP. Like Sun Tzu's Art of War and applying concepts to your PvP game. And it was some of the most like thought-provoking stuff. And King Koala just seemed to be that kind of person that, I mean, he in like several forwards, he was like, yes, I know Thorn is strong in the meta, but it's not unfightable. I mean, because it was also during, it was basically during the rise of Thorn, but it was thought that, if you used Thorn, it was cheap. And King Koala was one of the first voices I heard in the community that was like, it's not cheap, it's what works. If you want to like hinder yourself and fight by some imaginary honor system that nobody else is using, then don't blame other people, don't blame the meta. It's your fault. And it's like, oh my god. So yeah. So I learned I'm not young anymore, so reflexes aren't my thing. I know that for sure right now. But I'm more like mentality about Crucible now. It's like I'll find out, like in D1, it didn't matter if I needed special ammo or not. I got into the habit of always popping special boxes when you pass them. Because the more special boxes you pop, the less special ammo the other team had, which gave you the edge. There are times I'll run in D2 without a special weapon for that exact same reason. Yeah, you might kill me in your 2 shotgun shots, but you're not getting anything out of it from me. So good luck using your primary, buddy. But yeah,
That's
so
awesome.
like I said, I'm also not I am not afraid. Like, let's say I got like 2 teammates behind me. I am not afraid to run up against a group of like 3 people with a shotgun, get killed instantly, if that lets my other 2 teammates gain a window to just murder everyone. I will sacrifice myself for the greater good. So I really don't care about KD, but
Very Titan of you.
I mean, sort of.
I think Gator actually absolutely loved that part of the conversation because he's like, I need to play with this guy.
I was just going to say, and I'm trying not to interject because I love just listening to this stuff. Game awareness can go a long way when your reflexes aren't quite as good as they used to be. That's how I get away with it. Just knowing what's going on around you, knowing when to get the hell out of that area.
Exactly. And I tell you what, also ever since like going through like Crucible Playbook and stuff, like learning to pre-fire, basically, which takes reflexes out of the equation.
It does.
Because if you learn like how your opponents usually do, and if you know like within 80% certainty that they're going to peek that corner, start firing.
And thanks to the radar. Thanks to the radar system, that's coming. Yeah,
so 7 times out of 10, they're going to start getting the shot before they even level their gun at you. Mm-hmm. Unless they're smart, but still, I mean, like I said, so there's definitely ways around reflexes, and that's, like I said, that's definitely more my play style, is to get the mind games. Like, I may not, like, you're probably going to snipe my head off before I even pull the trigger. But let me get around you, because I'm probably going to sneak up on you. Then I'm going to murder you.
Dude,
Then I'm going to run in fear.
the mental game of playing Crucible, I could talk all day about it. It's so interesting to talk about. Yeah.
I mean, like I said, that's my jam because I don't know, it gets me going because there's something about the smart plays, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. Because everyone remembers like when it comes to like professional gaming, everyone remembers the Slayers. Everyone remembers the sick quick scopes, and if people even still use such terminology anymore. But like people remember those, the amazing plays and everything, but they never remember like maybe he went down first, but he's using his death cam to pipe in very essential details to his team. He's like got the strategy, he's got this. Those are the people that make it interesting, though.
Yeah, exactly. God, man, you make me want to play PvP now. Gator always feels that way, but myself, I'm like,
Sorry, I was biting my tongue.
He's like, I'm playing PvP right now. No. All right. Well, sir, I think Gator, you're next. Sorry there.
Okay. How many questions we got left here? Maybe one each?
Yeah, just one each. Yeah, we'll go with that, and then we'll move on.
Well, I always ask this one of all our guests, and I have a feeling we're going to get a good answer tonight. Okay, let me ask you this. What's the one thing, Des, that maybe the gamer guys and gals may not know about you?
Oh, let's see. I've actually been preparing for this question.
Oh,
because
I love it.
I mean, it's because it's always one of those questions I hear, and I'm like trying to apply it to myself. And like, what do people not know about me? Like, because I'm crazy enough to mention a lot, like in past podcasting and stuff like that. So I guess rare known facts would be certain things of a semi-illustrious, well, not really illustrious, but a very successful and well-received karaoke career.
Really?
Yes.
You have my attention.
It all started from because I was actually underage to even be in the bar, but it's small town Alabama, so, and I had friends that would frequent this bar. It was like bar / like pool tables, and every like Friday night or Thursday night they had karaoke come in, and a friend of mine's like, why don't you go up and sing and try it out? And like, nah, you're gonna have to give me some beers. Not that I was drinking underage or anything, but yeah, so I knocked back a couple, got my courage up to put a song request in, and knocked back a couple more to get up the courage for when they called my name. And then, of course, almost chickened out because within the first 5 seconds, and my song title came up, which was Metallica's Hero of the Day, I bet.
Nice.
Somebody from the crowd yells out, "Don't screw it up!" Like, oh, God.
Adrenaline pumping now.
Oh, God. Okay, here we go. Pretty much got like a standing O after I finished, and sang a bunch of very weird songs after that, but I always opened up with Hero of the Day as kind of like, I guess, superstition.
That is awesome, man. I love it.
Love that song.
That question will never leave our repertoire. We get such great answers from that question. All right, Hazel, take us out, man.
Oh, man. Now I will have to hear that song. So, So one of my favorite questions is, do you have a favorite motto or mantra that you live by?
Motto or mantra I live by, which is another one I have to prepare pretty heavily for. Because I don't have like some specific singular thing I live by, actually. It's much like me, quite complicated. So it's more, I definitely have like guidelines I impose, sort of, which, is kind of, when you think about it, is like some of the most basic stuff that can basically be summarized as don't be a dick, So, but like, there's anger issues that like come all from my family. So it's something that I've kind of had to, especially once getting married, something I really had to learn to like rein in and get a hold of. So, which I guess, if you've played PvP with me, you'll know like I have something of a catchphrase that is fair enough. Oh, this dude just rushed at me with a shotgun and now I'm dead. Fair enough. Oh, got sniped from who knows where. Fair enough. Because that person in that moment was better than me. And that's not just how I look at games, but it's kind of how I look at life. Don't sweat the stuff that's not in your control. Golden rule and all, treat others how you want to be treated. All of these is basically conglomerate again into everything that can be summarized into don't be a dick. So, yeah.
I
guess basically if I had a motto or mantra, it's don't be a dick. So, yeah.
That's fair enough. And I like that.
He stole mine, no. Hazel.
Oh, I didn't know that was your motto or mantra, Gator. I thought you just kept telling me, don't be a dick. So, all right. Well, I think that's a great place to head out, and we can move on to, I think we have a speedrun. I think yes. Somebody wants to represent with all of his spreadsheets that he's created and everything else.
Yeah, I think so.
A kid. All right. Well, next coming up is going to be the speedrun.
Call the Praxic Order, call the Thanatonauts, the Jinsen Scribes, call everyone so they can witness you.
Okay, listeners, this segment is called the speedrun. This is where we have a database of over 125 randomly asked questions, and DeSRaven here will have 60 seconds to answer as many as he can. These are short 1 or 2 word answers, and at the end of the year, the guest with the most answered will win a cool prize and the title of 2020 Speedrun Champion. The questions are randomly asked, so no one can memorize the order, and you'll just have to answer quickly whatever comes to mind. Tonight, I'm going to ask the questions randomly from the list. Hazel is the timekeeper, and I guess he's the quality control expert. In the event of a questionable answer, Hazel's decision will be final. I love saying this. Xanafan711 is the current leader at 27. So DeSRaven.
Fucking hate mail, buddy.
It's already coming. I can't stop it. So DeSRaven, you ready, man?
As I shall be.
And now keep in mind, this is for Sin and Kingsley's benefit. As soon as you answer the question, I am on to the next. All right, here we go. You all set, Hazel?
I am.
Calculator working? Okay.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Morning person or night owl?
Night owl.
Vader or Yoda?
Vader.
Mac or PC?
PC.
Toilet paper roll over or under?
Under.
Sunset or sunrise?
Sunrise.
What is your favorite Halloween costume?
Batman.
Anna Bray or Ada 1?
Ada 1.
Tupac or Biggie?
Biggie.
Is white chocolate actually chocolate?
Yes.
Name one possession you cannot live without.
PS4.
Tesla truck, yes or no?
No.
Where is your ideal vacation?
Hawaii.
DC or Marvel?
Marvel.
Grenades or melees?
Melee.
Pulse, auto, or scout rifle?
Scout.
Blue, green, or brown eyes?
Green.
Smooth or chunky peanut butter?
Chunky.
Destiny 1 or Destiny 2?
2.
Who would play you in a movie about your life?
Matthew McConaughey.
Fallen, Vex, or Cabal?
Cabal.
Pop-Tarts or toaster strudel?
Pop-Tart.
Boxer briefs or thong?
Thong.
Is racing a sport?
Yes.
I think you can get that one. I think you answered
All right.
it quickly. All right. I think you did pretty good, man. Hazel, what do you got there?
I've got 23.
Yeah.
Oh well.
It was solid. It was solid, man. It was a solid.
Yeah, you were moving, man.
I think I asked him quickly enough.
No.
Shit, dude,
I was good on that.
I'm self-conscious now. I'm getting nervous doing this thing. I'm not supposed to be nervous. Damn you,
I know.
Sonny
Definitely
Kingsley.
hesitate. I hesitated once for sure because I went with the funny answer of thong. Because sure, why not?
Sometimes you'll get me to chuckle, and that kills you a little bit. But I usually add that at the end.
I had to go for it.
No, man, you did great. You did good. That was a solid showing. Solid showing. So, hey, listeners, I've got a question for you guys out there. Do you have a great question for our speedrun? If that's a yes, then join our Discord and enter them in our Speedrun Question Ideas channel, and we'll add them for next year's speedrun. Just remember, they need to be yes or no or 1 or 2 word answers. Either or questions will also be accepted. At the end of the year, we're having a drawing for a $25 gift card of your choice, and you can enter up to 5 questions to go into the drawing. So good luck. Well, good deal, Des. I appreciate it, man. I think it's time to talk about this week at Bungie. This week at Bungie, they said a lot this week. So, Hazel, what do we got?
They said a lot, but you need a magic decoder ring to figure out what the hell they're talking.
It was a detailed TWAB, yes.
Yeah.
Would you call it a meaty TWAB?
Oh,
no,
dang it! You stole it from me.
Beat you to
Dang
it.
Yeah. Well, DMG actually beat us all to it, and he called it a meaty TWAB.
Oh,
So,
That's fair. That's fair.
Yes. So yeah, we'll give him credit for this one, for this meaty TWAB. So, all right. So starting off with the easy shit first. All right. So did you say more emblems? Yep. So they're giving us more emblems. Not really for us, but unless we're like a mentor or a community member, like that is on Bungie.net and all that good stuff. So they got mentors, ninjas, and shields, and then they tell you about how you can get nominated for that and that kind of thing. So if you want a neat little emblem, go hang out in the forums for Bungie.net.
And be positive help.
Yes, exactly. Like always. Then they also mentioned they showed new ones for the fashion show that they're going to be like probably doing, again later. Featured artists, movie of the week, and then Bungie bounties. So good stuff there. Then, all right, Iron Banner's coming back. My favorite part about that whole thing is about the little snarky line about if you are not at max power yet, then you may face a raid boss or two. So I'm sure Gator's not going to be salty about that.
You wouldn't be lying either.
So. Yeah. Moving on. So Game Pass. Destiny came out on that, so that's a thing. Congratulations, Xboxers. There you go. And next, Europa report, 100% chance of snow. So this was kind of cool. So what Bungie did is they released a short little video that basically showed and that did the sound as well for basically like a snowstorm that is going to be coming out with Europa and dynamic weather changes. So it's going to be kind of interesting to see how they do this and where it goes. Believe it or not, this is one of the things that's actually kind of selling me on getting Beyond Light sooner than my month that I was going to give it. I don't know why I'm excited for snow, but the dynamic weather changes seems kind of interesting. What do you guys think?
Well, what other game did this before Destiny?
Anthem?
Battlefield 4. Remember, did you ever play Battlefield 4?
Anthem was after, but yeah.
Well, yeah. Oh, yeah. You're right. Well, I mean, this is technically after. I mean, because they didn't have dynamic weather in Destiny 1. But Battlefield 4, DICE was the best at this. You would be on this island in the middle of the Pacific, and all of a sudden the rain would move in. Thunder would start crashing. The waves would start getting really wild. I still remember that to this day, Battlefield 4. That was such a great thing to have in the game. What do you think, Des?
Yeah, actually, I've played a lot. I'm trying to figure out why I played Battlefield 4 right now.
Yeah, not a shooter.
I think it was on I think it was one of those like super sales on PSN.
Okay.
'Cause trust me, I've bought a lot of stuff on like, oh hey, this game is only $20 and it's normally $60. Yeah, sure, I'll give it a shot. I think it was one of those, but no, they did like fantastic weather stuff. But I think for me, the true, or I guess what will be like the true test of like snow detail is how well are the footprints going to look in the snow.
No shit.
Yeah.
Because Bungie has an attention to detail. Such as one thing during one of the fashion shows, Deej showed off the fact that when your Guardian is going up steps, they don't actually, or at least didn't at the time, like, they didn't miss a step. Like, their feet, like, magnetized to each and every step going upstairs.
Right.
So, yeah, so the fact that they have that much attention to detail, I know there's going to be footprints, but I want to know how good they look, you know? So that's going to be like the test. You're going to see me like running around in circles on Europa. Just
yeah. I want to see like the enemy footprints too.
Yeah. That'd be
like,
good.
How many footprints is this machine going to keep track of?
Yeah. Now raise your hand if you actually look down at your feet and walk slowly forward while you're like in a patrol zone to watch your footprints.
Oh,
my hand's up. It's so cool to watch. I mean, even when you're walking in water and stuff, you're like, man, I can actually see my foot below the waterline. It is so detailed, man. Yeah.
That used to also be in D1 how you would be able to shoot yourself.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, good old days. Crota Raid comes to mind. Everybody get in the water and shoot yourself.
Yep. But they changed that, actually. They did that near the end.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and that's something that has... Yeah, that has stuck since D2 as well, because there's occasionally I'll give it a shot.
All right. So pretty much that's everything, except for one big change that from Paul Tassi to Aztecross, nobody knows what it really fuck it means. So what it is talking tech. And this is preparing for Beyond Light. So pretty much... one of the changes that they're doing is, I'll start with the easiest one. So they are changing how they do how our Guardians look and how we can, hopefully at some point in the future, according to them, change how they look and then maybe give them all a beard, because that's everybody wants to do with their Guardian apparently, is give them all beards. So there's that. And then, because I'll be honest, my Guardian looks like he's prepubescent. So that kind of makes me feel a little bad every time I look at it.
Yeah, that and beards have actually been a highly requested thing since D1.
I just want a goatee. That's all I want.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Yeah. But that's kind of the weird thing, though, is, I mean, who knew that, you needed a new engine in order to get some new faces and shit. Fuck.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. It's not a new engine. My bad. Oops.
It kind of is.
Well, we'll put a pin in that, buddy.
Okay.
So, also what they're doing is they are relighting portions of the EDZ and Nessus. So I don't know why, but this made me excited too. I don't know what it is about these little things like dynamic weather and then relighting of things, but just kind of, I guess it makes it seem fresh and new.
Well, I told you when I saw that one of those last videos, I think it was at the Xbox event when they had that showing all the ice fights and stuff. Remember I mentioned to you that something seemed different. It was more crisp. It kind of popped at you, and it didn't feel like the old Destiny 2. So maybe they're going to bring that to Nessus and the Cosmodrome? Or, I'm sorry, the EDZ.
Yeah, well, EDZ and Nessus, yeah. Those are the two areas, that are going to be relit.
I wonder if that's going to relate to that. I'm just curious.
Yeah, I'm sure that they carried that lighting philosophy through to, the new content that's going to be coming out, so...
that was kind of also shocking. It was shocking for me to see it in print. But yeah, the only two planets that are going to be left from the original are Nessus and EDZ. Like, holy crap. That's...
Yeah. Yeah, that kind of... How does that make you feel, buddy?
I'll admit, I'm a little nostalgic. I'm going to miss Mars. I'm not going to miss Mercury. Let me just, for the record, I'm not missing that planet. But
Mercury.
The one planet I'm going to miss the most is Titan. I love Titan. It was such an intriguing. It's just intriguing. You know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of Camino from Star Wars.
Yeah.
I got that vibe as soon as I landed there, very first time.
Right. And then you realize it's all methane, and it's like, what?
Oh man, I can't swim in that. Damn.
But no, yeah, like Titan is just as always. It is absolutely gorgeous on Titan.
Yeah, it really is. I just wish they did more with it.
All right.
Right.
Mark my words. Mark my words. I'm going to say this for posterity. They're going to bring Titan back. Because there's so many expansive areas in Titan. I really think they're going to play to that on the next rendition of when they bring it back.
Well, I mean, that's like in D1, the area that had the what was it? Was it Celebrant of Oryx? It was one of the places where, like, in the beta, you could find this, like, question mark, like, major Hive Knight.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
And that ended up being, like, what, in, like, Rise of Iron or something, that ended up being, like, the entrance to Rasputin's bunker.
That's right.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're right.
There were two knights in there, I think, weren't there?
I can't remember anymore, but I do know that hilariously, the name, the Celebrant of Oryx, had been in there since D1 launch. But we wouldn't know what Oryx was until, like a year later.
Well,
so,
I mean, yeah. Although he may have been mentioned in lore, possibly with Crota's End.
Nope.
But
nope. He was
Are
not
you
named.
a lore guy?
Oh, huge lore guy, my dude.
Oh, Hazel, you're going to be so out of place tonight, man. I love it. I love it.
As soon as I read the cards for Last Word and Thorn and saw them starting to interconnect, I was hooked.
I'm working my way into it, Des. I'm not there yet, but I'm working my way into lore.
Ishtar Collective is going to be, of course, your best friend. And their Discord also.
Oh yeah, I'm in the Focus Fire Chat Discord, and it's a great place. And a shout out to Green Eyed Music Lover, because she's the one that turned me on to it and got me into Ishtar.
Also, I even have an outstanding theory that back in D1, I had theorized that First Curse was indeed Thorn. Like, the First Curse was the model of gun that Dresden Yor used to convert into Thorn.
Ooh.
Because I actually had brought that theory up to Handsome Dragon, who was a very prominent, person in the lore, and he had told me that there was one other person he knew of that actually took those images, like the line art images of First Curse and Thorn, and overlaid them. And First Curse actually did fit inside Thorn. So that was interesting. But yeah, so that's my theory. That's like my claim to lore fame. Is that theory?
I could see that though.
I'm a lore dude.
I remember that. I remember First Curse. I remember that gun, Destiny 1. Oh
god, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, one small thing here is revamp the content. Basically, they are shrinking the size of the install, which, fun fact for anybody listening to this who isn't aware, congratulations. You are going to be able to preload, because you're going to need to uninstall and then reinstall the entirety of Destiny 2. But the good news is it'll be about 30 to 40% smaller. So the PS4 people that are going to be copying, that should be done probably next year. So
right.
Now, this is the part where Gator chimes in with, hey, I'm on PC, and it's been done for, 4 seconds. So, yeah.
Yeah, good luck with those driver updates whenever they decide to.
Yes.
Because, I mean, okay. I was a PC dude. I was there. I used to be able to wire an Ethernet cable because my brother was a computer technician. But anywho, but yeah, so I was there. I was a PC dude. There's a reason I'm not. Because it's a pain in the neck. Like, you get the wrong driver file, or your driver file is missing, like, the wrong bits or whatever, you're screwed.
Good
luck troubleshooting that.
It's a wild goose chase. I agree. I've only had it happen 1 or 2 times in my whole life, but when it does, it is might as well be the red ring of death. It's just crazy.
Yeah, it's a nightmare.
It is.
But yeah, so like I said, I used to be a PC dude, and this is the troubleshooting, and especially because I watched a streamer try and download and play Batman Arkham Asylum on Steam, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now it was an aged game, and it had special like NVIDIA crap, like physics stuff thrown in for the PC edition.
Right.
It took him 6 hours to get it up and running.
Oof.
Live on stream. Yeah, it was. See, these are the nightmare stories that the PC people don't want to tell you. It's like, yeah, they'll tell you about frames and resolution. Like, they'll tell you about all that all day long.
They don't want to tell you
about. They don't want to tell you about the driver issues that you could have potentially. But they've gotten better in years.
I was gonna say
they don't want to tell you.
Oh God.
Uh-oh.
They've gotten better. They've gotten better at that problem. So
no, they have, but it still happens because it happened in D2.
Yeah.
But yeah, and they don't want to tell you that because I listened, and what was it? You gave a friend a list of like $600 and $700 machines.
Yeah.
That can easily run Destiny 2.
Yeah.
I know of a machine that costs $499.99 that can also easily run Destiny 2.
I wonder what that is.
Right? But, so they don't want to tell you about that. And then they don't want to tell you about the nice new graphics cards that you're going to be tempted to buy, like this 3080 that costs like $800.
Not needed.
For a single component.
See, I don't buy into that.
But anyway.
I buy my computers full, all the way together, ready to go. And I don't mess with it. I don't touch them after that. Because it
can definitely be cheap-ish for PC play, but you are going to be tempted to get the new and shiny. You are.
Well, some people go down that path. Not going to be me, though.
Yeah, I mean, and if you can resist that temptation, all the greater for you, but it's possible. It's there. But anyway, so I'm done soapboxing now because...
those are valid.
PC guy.
Those are valid points. I mean, technically, those things can happen. So,
I really like this guy. I like this guy.
Who invited this guy on the show?
Oh, I think
I said, I'm a guy about balance.
Okay.
If you're gonna brag on the frames, warn about the nightmare.
Well, full disclosure. Full disclosure. I'm glad you mentioned it because it is full disclosure. Yep. All right. All right. Are we getting to the part where we talk about the new engine now?
Well, we're getting there. So, but the good news is that even with the shrinking of the 30 to 40%, what that's going to do is that's going to help them do mission critical fixes faster, and then reduce the overall ship pipeline depth, basically enabling them to, release closer to ship dates and things like that. So that's all heartwarming and awesome stuff like that. So now here's the part that Gator is referring to as the quote unquote new engine, or as Kingsley Mac would say, the bullshit. So
sorry.
It made me laugh too, I have to admit.
So all right. So they shifted their mission scripting model to run on the physics host instead of the mission host. So now here's the thing. Okay. Now this is what I mentioned about from what Aztecross and Paul Tassi to everybody who seemingly has no idea what in the hell this means. But pretty much like my takeaway for this is that they would say like, okay, so this is the path that they want the Guardian to take. So they would just put shit along that way. So they would say, hey, we're going to throw Minotaurs right along here because this is the path of the mission that we want them to go on. And then anybody who's played Destiny knows that, hey, if I go up this way or something like that, I can kind of get around it. And
there's going to be 2 Minotaurs every time.
Shit. Yeah, exactly. But now what they're doing is they're putting it on the physics host instead of that. So my thought is that they're going to be able to just put shit everywhere. So, I mean, that's my thought. I have no idea what in the fuck this means as much as anybody else does.
Are you talking random enemies?
Well, I guess it's kind of lucky I might have an idea about this.
I'm all ears.
Because they do make mention that basically the difference between the mission host and the physics host seems to be about the knowledge in which what engine or what information what engine has at any given time. Now, I thought of it as like in fighting game terms, right? Because I'm also kind of a fighting game dude on occasion. I like them, but I suck at them. So, whatever. You can tell, like, there's certain errors you can tell. In many fighting games, you can tell when you're up against what's called a button reading AI. Now, button reading AI is basically an AI that has access to your inputs. It knows what you're pushing within a frame, and that AI is thus programmed to counter with its best, like most likely to hit move at times. Now, what it sounds like the difference between the mission engine and this physics engine is they kind of made mention that the physics engine keeps track of everything. But the mission engine normally keeps track of like what general idea a specific group of enemies might have, while the physics engines is keeping track of like every spawn point and every trigger. So from the way that it's like they're trying to explain, basically it seems like the enemies are going to get smarter.
Yeah, that's kind of the takeaway I had too.
Yeah, because the enemies are going to be capable of knowing more, essentially.
They're going to get more information.
Basically, they're taking the limits off HAL, is what I'm getting out of it.
Well, I have to admit, if you break an encounter down into phases, like, okay, this phase we got the 2 ogres, right, in the path, they're kind of dumb. They just kind of sit there, and then they don't even react to you until you start shooting them. So you could technically go invisible, go right on around them, and keep on going. That's what a lot of these speedrunning guys do.
Exactly. That's what I do. I mean, those guys do.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Yeah, Gator, I am like totally one of those guys in strikes you absolutely hate. I'm sorry. I am that guy. I am that guy that will like completely bypass every enemy and go through the infinite forest door by door, leaving you behind.
But the problem, Des, is you leave me behind with everything shooting me, and I'm like, whoa, wait a minute, whoa, where's my help? What happened?
Run faster.
Exactly. Hazel took my exact advice.
You hear banjo music?
Yeah, you're coming across a Minotaur that's saying, "You sure got a pretty mouth, boy."
I love it. That's a good explanation, man. I'm glad you.
Potential title right there too, by the way.
I was going to mention that too. I guess I'll mention that too.
Yeah.
No, that's
what it sounds like.
Yeah, that's a great
It seems to me like it's going to be more organic to a degree. So it's like they may not spawn in the same place every time. They may just, it might be a little bit different this time than that time, and it seems more organic to me.
And it seems like enemies are like. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was about to say in their path, speaking of Titan, the strike in Arcology, where you have enemies entering from multiple points.
Right.
But like you said, they're stupid and they follow like specific paths.
Right.
So you can usually like shoot in an area and you're killing most of them.
I've had Shanks just go right by me to get in their position.
Yeah. So it sounds like with their, like I said, that's why it sounds like they're going to kind of take the limits off HAL, because it seems like potentially we're going to get screwed.
I was just going to say I have one word here to describe what I feel about this. Damn.
Right. It's like you're going to be like fighting a firefight with this group of enemies, but then like patch B is already active. They know what you're doing, and you're getting shot in the back is what I feel is going to start happening.
You know what? This might actually be Destiny 3 in disguise.
Well, it is. I mean, that's
just like Rise of Iron. Yeah, just like Rise of Iron was D2 in disguise.
Yeah, that's true.
So, next section here is something about a new engine. Dun, 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 dun. All right.
Go ahead.
Yes. So the moment that everyone has been waiting for to find out if Gator is full of it or if Hazel has to eat a bunch of crow. Or raven if you're, Asian and you know the word again. So, all right. So, Gator, do you want to take the floor first?
Okay, I'm going to present.
Sorry, go.
Okay, you both are going to crush me probably. Here's my argument. Okay, when I started talking about all this engine talk, all I was doing was I was putting pieces together. Like, for instance, if we go back to when Bungie broke off from Activision, who was the first person to chime in on Twitter? It was the guy from Xbox, right?
Oh, Phil Spencer.
Phil Spencer. Phil Spencer is, man, this guy, I have a big respect for this guy because he is doing a lot of things right now. Don't even get me started about him orchestrating the Bethesda buyout. That'll go down another. I will go down another rabbit hole for another time. But here's my argument. I started that's the first thing that my ears perked up about. And then Destiny started complaining in the TWABs about how stuff was too big. It's like they were setting us up for something. Like, okay, Destiny's getting a little large, the machines can't hold them anymore. And I say, this is a bunch of bullshit. Sorry, Kingsley. This is bull because there's games on PC that are much larger. I mean, let's look at World of Warcraft. It's an enormous game. No one ever complained about how big the files were. And let's face it, we're going into next-gen consoles, right? They're going to hold, well, hopefully, they're going to hold a lot more than what the current gen does right now. Not all of them. We'll talk about that. But then I started putting that together. And then I started hearing things about game mechanics and then the sunsetting. And I just started putting two and two together. And I just said, you know what? What's the one thing that we all complain about with Destiny? Is they take forever to upgrade, whether it's sandbox or whether it's some mechanic that's not working, raids. Certain puzzles aren't working correctly. Every week there's bugs. And then what have they been doing this last month and a half? It doesn't seem like several times a week they've gone to background maintenance. Just seems like they've been doing that a lot more than what I'm used to seeing. Because I get it every time they go do background maintenance, I get a tweet and it goes right to my phone and lets me know what's going on. I just started putting all these pieces together and I said, you know what? Phil Spencer was a big fan when they broke off from Activision. What if Bungie was already in talks with Phil Spencer before any of this came to happen? Even before maybe they broke off from Activision and said, listen, we have a new engine coming out called the Slipstream engine. It's not really out yet. It's a future engine we're going to be implementing. I mean, my God, they're swallowing up gaming studios left and right. I can't keep count how many they have now under their consort, but
a lot.
That's the reason why I've been pushing this new engine thing. Okay, and here's the thing. Here's my argument. If you have a small block Chevy and you take the camshaft out that's worn out and is not working as good as it used to. Maybe the valves aren't open. Maybe they're leaking. Maybe the valves are leaking oil, starting to burn and smoke. And all of a sudden you put a new camshaft in, you put new valve seats in, you kind of spruce things up. And wouldn't you still call that a new engine? Because it's basically a new engine ready to go. So that's kind of what Bungie's done here. They've kind of opened up the hood. They've kind of taken the valve covers off. They've kind of gotten down into the guts of this engine and said, listen, it's working way too hard. It's as inefficient what it's doing over here. So let's fix that. Let's put some new parts in here. Let's reroute how talked about here. That's my argument is that that's why I believe it's still considered a new engine. That's my argument. Don't everybody jump in at once.
I'll let Raven go next.
As if I haven't soapboxed enough. No, but I mean, within all seriousness, I mean, I might be opening a can of worms by saying this, but a lot of predictions and things that Gator usually say on this show, such as taking the number off Destiny back in the day, the new engine, I about 80% agree with.
Okay, I'm so glad you asked this guy on the show, Hazel. And now, Des, don't forget. I'm not trying to preach, but who did get the $4.99 price right? Now, wait a minute. Now,
after he got the $2.99 price wrong.
Okay,
and the
hey, no, but I got the most important part, and I'll explain why in a minute. But not to interrupt you, Des, but Hazel was mentioning $5.99 and $6.99 for this PS5, and I said, "There's no way, dude. They're not going over that $4.99 price." That's all I'm gonna say.
I mean, which is fair because Hazel was basically following also because I followed a lot of like market predictions and stuff. You know, basically people that are paid to get into other people's business, even though they don't know other people's business. But anywho, so yeah, they were predicting upwards of like $7.99, and it kind of made sense for the technology they were using, especially considering both Xbox and PlayStation are using like some high quality SSDs.
It's basically a PC. Right now. It's basically a PC.
I mean, they've basically been PCs since the Xbox 360.
Well, true.
But I digress on that one. But no, I mean, it was a believable price range, but yeah, I mean, I'll say you stuck to the faithful console pricing, even though nobody really saw it coming.
Hazel, I like this guy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but that's the thing, though. Regarding the pricing, real quick here, is just that. I mean, I think when Xbox came out and said $4.99, then Sony had to match it, basically.
Yeah.
That was basically it.
Now, I'll admit, I was very surprised at $3.99 for a all digital version of PS5. I was very surprised, and I gotta give a shout out to Paris Lilly. He nailed it. He said $3.99.
That makes sense. What surprises me is the Series S $2.99.
Oh, yeah.
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 Surprised everybody.
That's what surprises me.
That's not much money.
It's like I told my wife that, I mean, like I said before, I follow my franchise, Final Fantasy. I've done so for console generations at this point in time. Mm-hmm. I'm getting a PS5. It's happening. Like, that's happening first. But digital only? That out of, from launch is only $2.99?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's kind of within reach.
Yeah, that's like I could scrape that together, That's not
right.
Crazy.
I mean, that's cheaper than a Switch in some places. Because Switch is like $3.99, right? Or
no. Hazel got one from a homeless guy in a parking lot. So who knows what he paid?
He may not have paid him money. He might have paid him favors.
Oh, no, it's okay. We don't need to go there. Okay. We don't need to go there. This is explicit, but not that explicit.
Apparently, I did. Mouth, but.
But no. So yeah, that like changes the game a lot. I feel though.
Yeah.
Like that's bold move. And it's getting me to start thinking like with that and the move to get Bethesda, because I said in Discord before with someone that it seemed like PlayStation had the stronger lineup in games for what had been announced. Not like just launched, but just generally announced.
Yeah.
I felt Sony had a stronger lineup.
Oh yeah,
because it almost felt like Xbox was relying on Halo and Fable, like carry everything, which sounds like Xbox to be honest.
Yes,
but
then like 2 days later, they buy Bethesda, and it's like, whoa.
That blew me away. Not just Bethesda. The company that owns Bethesda.
Yeah.
Bethesda
and ZeniMax.
Oh, my God. That's crazy, man. What was it? 5.8 billion?
7.5.
7.5 billion?
Yeah. Bill. Yeah, that's with a B, ladies and gentlemen. That's, which is absurd, because normally game studios, because I think, WB Games had been in talk of selling NetherRealm Studio for millions.
Right.
Like, Microsoft bought Obsidian Entertainment for millions.
Yeah.
And they just threw billions.
Well, here's the difference.
To get Bethesda.
See, if I don't think Sony could pull that off. They probably could if they really stretched. But Sony's business is like, hey, here's a few bucks, make it exclusive for a few months on our place, and then throw it everywhere. And so a lot of developers will do that.
I mean, you've also heard about the faux pas about the Sony reveal or the Sony event. Two games were during the reveal event. There were 2 games that were announced as PlayStation console exclusives,
and then it said PC at the bottom.
But hours after those videos went up, subsequent videos removed any mention of a PC release.
Yes, they did.
That included Demon Souls and Final Fantasy 16.
See? Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, but what I love about this is, A, them buying Bethesda is a strong move because, A, it does strengthen their category or their catalog. It does strengthen Game Pass, which I feel has a leg up over PSN right now. And like PlayStation Now. Like, I feel Game Pass is the stronger digital like content release.
Yeah.
And they just strengthen that. And any potential exclusives that they can... God, dude, Microsoft owns Elder Scrolls right now.
I know.
Yeah.
Think about that.
Microsoft owns Doom right now.
Minecraft.
They've owned Minecraft, but...
Well, yeah. I mean, it's just another pile.
Yeah. No, it is. And here, I mean, the fact that Minecraft just recently released Minecraft Dungeons for like everything, I don't feel any of these games will go super console exclusive. But please, 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 Microsoft, let Obsidian Entertainment develop another Fallout game, please.
Let them do it.
Please give us something like New Vegas 2.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah.
Because I don't even... It's like I told my wife, I don't care if this theoretical New Vegas 2 stays on Xbox console forever. Because I don't do Xbox normally, but if it stays on Xbox forever, it's still going to be better for the gaming community as a whole, because my God, New Vegas was amazing. Yeah. I mean, it just helps everyone, basically. It's going to be an enjoyable experience, blah this, blah that. And this is a threatening move.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. This is a shot across the bow.
It is, but this creates competition.
And who always wins? Who always wins out of that?
The consumer always wins in a war.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. Sony is going to have to start thinking about quality. They're going to have to start thinking about getting people in with console exclusives. Mm-hmm. They're going to have to strategize. Both sides are going to have to make sure their customers are 150% satisfied to stick with them for brand loyalty. Everyone wins when there's competition.
Yeah.
Because I mean, look at the original, Xbox launch, 360 launched, and PS3 launched. Look at how many improvements we've had in Sony since the 360 became a threat.
Very true.
Like, PS4 kind of won this console generation. It's always sold more. And it's been relatively good being on a Sony platform because a lot of things got way better in recent years. So this is only just going to amp it up way, way more. And I am like completely off the subject of a freaking engine now.
It's all right. It's all right. No, it was in our notes to talk about. It was in our notes to talk about anyway. No.
But no, as rewinding, we have to go back to the past, Marty. But as far as an engine goes, though, I do have to say that I do agree that there should be a new engine. But as soon as they announced 3 years of Destiny 2, and they basically didn't announce any dropping of, what will be now previous console generation anytime soon.
Right.
I don't feel we're going to get a new engine anytime soon.
I would say...
Because this... No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, if I'll admit, Slipstream was maybe... there's been a lot of speculation that Bungie was going to get bought by by Microsoft. Who knows? Maybe they were talking about all this engine stuff. Maybe it was part of the meeting, in addition to maybe Microsoft maybe throwing them a bone to see if they would sell. And, you know, they just let them into Game Pass, so maybe it's already on the path.
I mean, or the talks could have been about Game Pass, but
No, you're right. No, you're right. No, but I think Game Pass is more of a minor. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not there.
Here's the thing. I'm used to old Xbox heads, right?
Yeah.
I'm used to the Xbox heads that made you buy a Kinect with the Xbox One.
I'm raising my hand. I bought one.
Yeah.
Those are the Xbox heads I'm used to.
Yeah.
I'm not used to this dude that said years ago he was going to make a change that betters players.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't believe him then. I'm starting to kind of lean towards him right now because he's making moves.
Yeah,
what would happen if Phil Spencer left tomorrow?
Welcome
Sorry.
back, Microsoft.
Yes, yes, exactly.
It's going to be awful for Microsoft if Phil Spencer ever leaves. But
Yeah.
But I do not agree on the engine of choice, though. I think every game studio is going to be a fool to pass up Unreal 5.
Okay, that's a good point. Slipstream, you know, it's not tested really, and it's very new. And you know, maybe I'll just say this. I'll put myself out there again. I always do. Maybe whatever.
Backtrack 5 minutes later.
No, I won't. No, I'm sticking to this. Maybe. Okay, I was wrong on the Slipstream. I'll admit it. Hazel, I was wrong. But maybe I was just a little before our time. Maybe this is actually going to happen when whatever Destiny 3, Destiny Online, blah, blah, blah happens after these 3 years pass.
See, then that's my exact thought patterns as well.
Yeah.
That's
what
going
I
to be the
said too.
soonest. Yeah, that's going to be the soonest we see any of these major sweeping changes.
Yeah.
Is dropping the last console generation like they did in D1. And then from that step forward,
Yeah.
then we'll probably start thinking about like a new engine, which again, I hope they go for UE5 because
Yeah.
I mean, if there's a studio Microsoft can't buy,
Right.
I will be bold and I will make this statement right here, right now, because I believe it. They cannot buy Epic. It's not going to happen.
Epic's pretty
We're
good.
talking about a game studio that not only owns Fortnite, which I don't care what you think of it, I don't care your opinion of it. It makes money. It makes money like nobody's business. Well, it's their business, but
It's a great model.
you know, yeah. I mean, it revolutionized season passes. It gave every game as a service the blueprints of a model to follow for like seasonal interactivity, because there's so many games that use it now, including our favorite, or you know, mostly
Warzone.
favorite.
Oh, sorry.
Uh-huh.
I saw it coming, and
I
I saw it coming,
appreciate
and it still
you.
got me.
I appreciate
It still
you.
got me. But no, but this is also basically a studio that is dominating engines right now.
Yeah. And they're offering it
Like,
for next to nothing.
What do
To
you mean
develop-
next to nothing?
Well, they're giving them free to the developers to make games for them and their platform.
Here's the thing: so long, like they've been doing that for years, though, since before the
Right.
platform.
True.
As soon as enough major studios bought the rights for Unreal 4,
Mhm.
they were able to offer it for free, with the caveat that, of course, they get basically publishing rights, essentially.
Sure.
Not really rights, but they get kickbacks for using their engine. Can you imagine how much money that started making them? Because everything is using UE4 right now.
Mhm.
Japanese games,
Mm.
which for most people won't sound that, groundbreaking. But here's the thing. Square Enix, going back to Final Fantasy, I always do it. But Square Enix spent years developing what they call Crystal Tools, which is their in-house engine. And they've been doing in-house engines for a long time. They used Crystal Tools to make Final Fantasy 15, but they used Unreal Engine 4 to make Final Fantasy 7 Remake.
What's that tell you?
And these are people that right now their business model is kind of backwards because they're kind of loyalty based essentially. It's like what works, they're going to stick with, and they're going to stick with it good.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, there's only basically one development studio within all of Square Enix that is even planned to use Crystal Tools, and that was the team that was making Final Fantasy 15. So there's no like restriction of what engine that they use for what games that they're making. And then you have the reveal of Unreal Engine 5, which might I say looks absolutely gorgeous. Like, and it struck me in a way that the way they described being able to load in open worlds in a flash. I mean, if you've seen the tech demo, you go from this tiny cramped space to rendering out an entire open world essentially larger than any Destiny 2 zone in an instant. No hiccups, no nothing. Now, if you go back and watch the Unreal Engine 4 tech demo, you're going to see hitches and stalls almost everywhere. But that didn't exist. Yeah, there's that doesn't exist in Unreal Engine 5.
Wow. And
it's early. And they showed it off on a PS5 dev kit, an early PS5 dev kit. So, like I said, for me, my money is on the future is going to be Unreal Engine 5, because I don't know how, but this little studio that made a game called Unreal Tournament and Unreal dipped their toes in physics engines, and I mean, the rest is, as they say, history.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, it's crazy to think that Unreal Tournament was actually ahead of its time,
right?
Because of its physics interactions.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I was just happy I was able to pin a body against a wall with a minigun for like 30 seconds. That was fun. But yeah, that's the path they need to make, because Destiny whatever is going to be gorgeous on Unreal Engine 5.
Yeah. You know what? You're probably going to be right. You know what? I think the factor is going to be because Microsoft probably isn't the best of friends with Epic. It's probably a pretty serious competitor. Is maybe it depends how chummy Microsoft and Bungie become over the next 3 years. I don't know.
It's potential.
Yeah.
But I still don't see Bungie going back with Microsoft with any steady deal. I mean, these are the people that literally took Bungie's baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, let's look at this. Where would the Xbox 360 be without Halo?
And here's the thing. Microsoft basically had nothing to do with Halo, except for the fact that they bought Bungie.
Yeah. They were at the right time. They were at the right time.
Halo was a prototype that they showed to Microsoft with they already had thoughts and everything going in on it. It was their baby.
Right.
And then Microsoft buys them. They make Halo, Halo 2, Halo 3. They start getting was Halo 3 after 2, or was it that ODST and crap? ODST.
Don't ask me. I wasn't a Halo player.
It was.
Yeah,
ODST was after 3, I think.
Okay. I was making sure sequences. But yeah, because I know it was around Halo 3 that Bungie was looking to split with Microsoft.
Yeah, and ODST was their swan song.
Yeah, and here's the thing. This is the Microsoft I'm used to. They were big enough scumbags that they're like, okay, you can branch off and not be a first-party developer, but your IP is ours still.
Yeah.
And it's like...
Look how great Halo is now. Not.
I mean, to be fair, I think 343 is doing well with it. Considering it was started by the people that worked at Bungie that still wanted to work at Halo, so they're like, well, see ya.
That's true. You know, and that's a lot of pressure. I'm sure.
Yeah.
I mean, they literally were that was going to be the game to push the new consoles into the next realm. And
I mean, and here's the thing, Halo. I didn't know this until I looked it up, but Halo as a console shooter predates both COD and Battlefield.
Really? Does it?
As console shooters? Yes.
Wow.
COD and Battlefield were PC shooters.
Did not know that.
So a lot of the systems that Halo came up with, like button layouts and crap like that, That's where COD and Battlefield got it from.
Wow.
So they've been following, like, as console shooters, COD and Battlefield have been following in the footsteps of Halo, aka Bungie.
Yeah, good point. Des, man, those are insightful. That's insightful stuff, man.
Like I said, I'm a nerd, man.
No, I love it. I love this.
When I look into things, all right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, well, Hazel, you haven't had much to say here. I wanted to give you time to speak.
No, I've been listening.
No, me too.
I mean, well, here's something else that you guys. So in the TWAB this week, Bungie linked did a link to an AMA, so an Ask Me Anything with some of the game developers from Bungie, actually from them, and they were talking about stuff like that, about like like just a lot of questions were like, hey, how do I get into gaming and things along those lines, and they talked about that. But one of the cool things, speaking of things that Halo or Bungie invented, was actually behavior trees. So, I mean, that was, that was like, they were the first ones to do that, where it was, if you shoot something, or it's going to hide for cover, or if it's going to be out here, it's going to run further, things along those lines.
Interesting.
Did not know that.
Yeah. So, and that came out in, they said Halo 2. So.
Wow. That's
all right. Well,
super.
I'm extending my virtual hand to shake yours, Hazel. Let's just call it a draw.
But first.
Shit.
So, one of the things in this beloved AMA is from Bungie's Chris K. He says, regarding the engine, and now this is 2 months ago, Aldridge may speak to this more, but every engine I've ever used has strengths and weaknesses. I certainly would not classify the Destiny engine as archaic, and I certainly wouldn't want to try to build Destiny in any other engine. Of course, there are processes that are slow, and we're making improvements to address our tech debt. Not totally sure what you mean about a new engine in future titles, but we updated the engine from D1 to D2 and continue to update the engine during D2 development. We'll never make a whole new engine and move Destiny to it, but any future games that Bungie makes wouldn't necessarily need to use the Destiny tech if it doesn't make sense for that game. RIP.
Well, Des, I appreciate you trying to soften the blow. I appreciate you trying to soften the blow, man.
I think it's funny that he does say that he wouldn't call it archaic, because by today's standards, it's actually
archaic.
is an archaic engine.
Yes.
Because this is the engine that they've been using since ODST.
I mean,
well, that's the thing too, is in there he talks about it, and they found code from like 20 years ago, and then they have to tweak it and update it and things along the way. So well, it's a really cool thing. I don't know if Des, you may get a kick out of it, but yeah, it was definitely fun to read. I mean, I actually read like 90% of it, and yeah, it was really cool. They include some of that code too from 20 years ago.
Let's see, and that just sounds like a nightmare to me, because I've worked with machinery that had old code that made some really funky things happen, which is why I always laugh when people are like, oh, it's just coding, you could do this, and where's your QA? Because, like I said, I worked in a facility where we used MIG welders, automated MIG welders. And for a MIG welder, you have to occasionally service and like change out the tip of the nozzle, blah, blah, blah. Right. For those that know, you know. If not, it's maintenance. But in order to come into service position, it of course extends out so the operator or technician can change the tip. This one machine, out of this entire line of robots, something like 2-3 dozen maybe, this one welding machine, instead of coming directly out into a service position, it almost looked like a freaking crane game. It would like extend out, stop, back up, go back to start position, extend out, almost like it's going to service, stop, back to start. It would repeat that like 5 times before finally going to service position. Now, our programmers were actually pretty smart. One of them was a really smart dude from Germany. He was smart. They couldn't find the code that made it do that.
Really?
They couldn't find in the code why that was happening.
Ghost in the machine, baby.
Exactly. So, yeah, when coding crap happens,
Yeah.
I always give Bungie a pass because that experience. Like, you have people paid, like, what, 6 figures a year
Mm-hmm.
that went to college for probably longer than I've been alive almost. Well, at that point in time, longer than I've been alive. Not now, but anywho. Yeah, and they're just going, oh.
Yeah.
That's why they call it spaghetti code. It just goes everywhere, man. You just don't know. Like I know anything about code. I knew COBOL. I knew COBOL in college.
I made a calculator in C++.
Nice.
Or no, not even C++. I'm sorry, it was BASIC.
Oh my god, I knew BASIC.
Yeah, because it was a computer literacy class I had taken. Do you know how many lines of code it takes to make a calculator
It's
just
crazy.
something go 2 + 2 = 4 in BASIC?
We were learning basic codes when the personal IBM came out. It was called IBM Home or something. It's like a looked like a console with a television screen. Yeah, that's crazy.
Like the Apple IIs.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Good example. Yeah. Well, Hazel, did you have anything else you wanted to say before we move on?
No, I think that was it.
I think
As I say, before I soapbox again, do quick.
Yeah.
No. I just wanted to say that and then just leave that as my mic drop.
Yeah, Gator's broken. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's,
mark the date, just like Admiral Nip said.
There.
Mark the date. Gator's broke. Now I have one little editorial piece here before we move on to our Discord questions. And after I'm done, please chime in, guys. I'll be quick because I realize we're already over time. But everyone has been going crazy about getting a PS5 and an Xbox Series X, and they've been killing themselves to get a console. And what?
God.
Years ago, that was me. I was the person standing in line waiting like an idiot for 4 consoles to be available when I'm in like 10th in line. You know what I'm saying? That kind of frustration. Well, I've decided this year I am not doing that. I am not going to do that. And until I can press a button on Amazon and it gets delivered to my front door, I'm not in a hurry to buy a console. And this is the reason why. I think this might be the time for some of you console guys out there and gals to make the switch to PC. And here's my argument. Hazel, before you say anything, here's my argument. Steam, which has tons of games that go on sale all the time, is free to play online as long as you have your online service, right? What do you pay to play online on Xbox Live and PS Plus? $60 a year. And that's not including Game Pass.
Also depending upon the game.
Exactly my point. You can get, like I mentioned, about Larman Kentucky was asking me about some gaming PCs that were within about the same price as a console plus a controller, which was about $600, right? 600, 700 after you pay tax. I looked up easily several computers that would play Destiny easily 60 frames at 1440p, which is exactly what the new Xbox Series S does, right? 1440 at 60 frames, maybe even higher for some games. And these mid-level PCs last, let's just say on average 5 years before they're outdated. And I may be stretching that, but isn't that about what consoles last? About 5 years before they usually have another version or another generation.
Ooh.
And here's another thing. Storage. These consoles are very cheap, but here's the problem. It is $219 to buy the expandable Seagate drive for the Xbox Series S. You might as well just get the Xbox Series X because that is already going to have a bigger SSD in it. And by the time you spend $219, and that's verified, that's the price. And that's, by the way, that's what most Seagate drives go for. Don't at me. I'm sure there's some cheaper ones out there. I'm sure there's a lot more expensive ones out there. But this is the question I get from most of my controller players is, man, I don't want to play mouse and keyboard. Here's the thing. Controller support and I'm just learning this because I'm new to PC. I never played PC as a kid. I couldn't afford it. My parents couldn't afford to buy big computers and expensive hardware. Controller support is it's everywhere on mainstream games and not so many mainstream games. There's a lot of independent games out there that easily support a PS4 controller or Xbox.
And in fact, there's many indie games that actually prefer controller inputs. Exactly
my point. So for those people out there say, well, I'm not getting a PC because I don't know how to use mouse and keyboard. And I was raised on controller. That's no longer an excuse. I literally when Destiny 2 came available on PC, I literally plugged my USB cord, and I can do it wirelessly too. I like to make sure there's zero input lag because I play a lot of PvP. There's probably a little bit, depending on your motherboard, and I'm not going to get into that, but literally you can plug your controller into the USB port and it immediately recognizes it, and the Destiny game will automatically switch to a controller icon on the game. Yes. Just like that. And sometimes my controller will come loose and it'll say, okay, now you're on mouse and keyboard. You'll get the pointer. So it's so easy. The game is so seamless as far as playing Destiny from mouse to keyboard to controller. Okay. So that being said, most games that are coming out at launch for Xbox and for PS5, they're really not exclusive, guys. You know why?
No.
Because no one is going to get rid of their PS4 and their Xbox One X for at least 2 years. There's stats out there that prove that it takes 2 years for the average person to switch over to a next-gen console. And what is Xbox and what does Xbox and PlayStation want to do? They want to sell games. So, Miles Morales, the new Spider-Man game. That game has not been designed for the PS5. It was designed for the PS4 because whenever they make a game, they have to make it basically playable and seamless on the lowest common denominator. And yes, they can add shader packages and where it looks a little more beautiful. But as far as the mechanics, it's going to be generally the same as the lowest common denominator that developer has to make for a game. So for that reason, for this big launch everyone's going crazy for, there's not really exclusive games out there, guys. We even talked about it, Des. The new Final Fantasy. It's going to be on PC. It may not be immediately, but it eventually is going to be on PC. So
it's like 7 Remake.
Yes.
You got like 6 to 8 months before it's available
on PC
everywhere else.
Yes, That's true. So unless you really absolutely want to play the new Final Fantasy, I know I'm talking to you, Des. I know, unless...
Oh, now I'll be getting a PS5 for it.
I understand. But if there's really God of War, I guarantee you will not be exclusive to PS5 because guess what? If they're saying 2021, that's still in the PS4 lifetime. And I guarantee they're going to make...
It's going to be 2021.
No, I don't think it will either. I think it's going to be delayed, but that's what they said in the things. That's what I have to go by.
I doubt that.
Sony wants to sell games. Sony wants to sell games. That's their model. So there's no way the first 2 years of this PS5 coming out, Ratchet & Clank is the only one that comes to mind that is not going to be on PS4. I can't think of many other games that are going to be on the PS5 exclusively. And Sony's really tricky about slipping out, like you said, about the PC footage on their thing. That was an example. But other than the PSN and my Xbox Live friends list, nothing has really got me where I have to have this console this year. And it's the first time ever I felt this way. Now, I tell you who I feel for here, though. I feel for all my PS4 brothers and sisters out there that are going to be stuck on the PS4 for at least six months before it's even reasonably accessible to the public. And we're talking spring is probably when they're finally going to be able to get a PS5, unless they're lucky. Hazel, you won the damn lottery, and you still couldn't get one. You waited in line.
Fun fact for you. I waited in line twice.
Yes.
And guess what? No to both.
Why are we why are we putting up with that?
Well, not because I'm playing Switch.
And why are we in an age where we have virtual wait lines? That's ridiculous.
I saw that too. Yeah.
It's like, what the crap?
So this is a cry. This is me appealing to the console players out there who think, well, PC is out of my range. There's no way. I'm just going to wait for the PS5 or the Xbox Series X to come out. I'm telling you, the PC gaming arena is so friendly now. It's not what it used to be, because believe me, I'm a total noob when it comes to gaming. Chris3711 tried to message me the other night. I couldn't even find out where the chat was. I didn't know what key to press on my keyboard. Don't laugh at me, Des. I'm telling you, I couldn't find the key where it pulls up the chat in the game. I'm used to seeing that in the PlayStation Network. So I'm very much a noob to PS gaming, but I've been totally 100% happy with so far with my venturing into this. So let me be the cautionary tale for you guys out there and gals that are on console and feel trapped that they can't get, 60 frames at 4K when Beyond Light comes out, because I'll be playing it. It's my next gen console is going to be my PC. I've been playing all year, and RNG Gator we're in the same boat. We both have PCs. We've already been playing on PC, and other than our friends list, that's the one thing that's really holding me to these consoles. One more thing, I have a question. I have a question for you guys and you out there. My advice, and I heard this, I have to credit 30 and Still Gaming and Sergeant McCluskey out there were talking about this on their last Generation X Gaming podcast, and I have to mention this too. Do not buy the digital only editions. You know why? Because if the games you basically are tethering yourself to PlayStation Network and Xbox Game Pass and Xbox Live to get your future games. If you do not have a disk drive in that game console, you cannot go to a physical retailer around town that may have it for $5. You will not be able to do that anymore because you're digital only. Now, I'll speak for myself. I don't really buy disc-based games anymore because I'll just wait for them to go on sale as digital only versions. But I'm saying now, if you buy a digital only version of a console, you are going to be tethered and totally strapped to whatever prices Sony and Xbox decides to charge. You'll have no options. So I heavily advise, if you're going to get a next gen console, get one with a disc drive, because until they don't sell disc games anymore, you at least have options. And not to mention all the other things I mentioned before this about storage size and gigaflops or whatever, the teraflops or whatever the hell they talk about. Yeah. So that's my plea. You guys have anything to say before we move on?
I do.
I mean,
go for
it. No, I was about to say, I mean, because like you said, like people freaking out about not getting a next gen console early. I learned the lesson with PS3 when it came out, that you don't want next gen in its first run, because if there's any critical flaw, you're going to find it. It's not going to be good, potentially. So you really don't want next gen as soon as it comes out anyway, because those are usually the worst machines to buy. With that, and at least with, I mean, if you are a Destiny player, Bungie has already confirmed crossplay between generations.
Yeah.
So if all your friends are getting PS5, you're still going to be able to play with them. You might need like Discord or something to be able to talk to them, but you're not losing them if they're sticking with console to console, or within the same brand. So, I mean, my advice is usually always to wait anyway. Like I said, historically, you don't want first runs of next-gen consoles. It's kind of a lottery on if it's going to last or not. I got lucky with my PS4. It wasn't really first run, but it was early run. But, like the example PS3, because they tried the chipset emulator to play PS2 games.
Yeah. In
early PS3s. Well, that was an issue because A, was making the PS3 expensive, and B, it actually, like, late generation PS2 games were actually running worse on the PS3. So it wasn't really well thought out. That's why in, like, the next runs of PS3, they took that chipset out, and it made so many things better.
Right.
Like, you could still play PS1 games, you lost the ability to play PS2 games, but things ran better, the console came down in price. like I said, be wary about buying fresh console releases.
And one more thing I didn't mention is what's one thing that's going to be universal pretty soon? Crossplay. A lot of games have already adopted crossplay, and it's just a matter of time before everyone follows suit, because guess what? Competition.
And guess who laid the framework for that?
Fortnite.
Yeah.
Thank you, Fortnite.
Yeah. Well, real quick, I just wanted to say that, I mean, that is a very valid point that you made for, jumping to PC and everything else. But besides that, though, the main thing about, so I was actually going to get, if I could pre-order a PS5, I was going to do the all digital. But then I was looking at my setup up here, and I was like, wait, you know what? I've got a shit ton of Blu-rays. So if you have Blu-rays and that kind of thing, you might want to just upgrade to the one with the disc so you can actually play that shit.
PS4 is the only Blu-ray player in my house right now.
Yeah, exactly. So that means that, if you upgrade, then you do the all digital, then it means that you got to keep your PS4 out.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Or you buy a Blu-ray player.
That's why my PS5 is going to be the disc-based.
Yep,
because
exactly. Same here.
Blu-rays, movies. I don't buy, like Gator, I don't buy physical anymore. Because I got annoyed with constantly changing discs out.
Yes.
It became, for some reason, a major annoyance for me. And I was playing Destiny a lot, and whatever little side game I was playing, Final Fantasy 15, Fallout 4, whatever, I would have to take Destiny out, put this in, and then a few hours later, I'd take that out, put Destiny back in.
Don't mention, also mention that you're in the middle of playing Destiny, a raid, and all of a sudden your PS4 decides to eject the disc. No reason. Just ejects it.
That's an issue I've avoided, actually. My PS4 does not do that, even though it's early enough to do that.
Okay.
I got lucky.
It happened to me several times. It was so irritating.
Yeah, I knew someone that within the first 2 months of them even having PS4 couldn't even use discs anyway because it would just automatically spit them back out.
Right.
Oof.
So yeah, I mean, like I said, that's why you don't buy early. It's a crapshoot. Because I had a friend I was playing Destiny with constantly, but he had to rebuy Destiny digitally because he couldn't play disc anymore. And here I am still with my PS4, and it's fine. So it's a crapshoot.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Anything else, Hazel, before we move on?
No. Nope. Other than my computer woes right before this podcast, and then hearing my wife go like, "Hey, are you just doing this so you can try to get a new PC?" I'm like, "No, I'm really not. The computer's a piece of shit."
Mrs. Hazelnut, please throw Hazel
kind
alone.
of looking at me going like,
How about if you can't get a PS5, just get a mid-level PC gaming and gaming machine. How about that, Mrs. Hazelnut? It's the same money. And he'll be able to podcast.
Yeah, that's the other thing, is that she more wants me to be able to log in and not cuss at the computer. And
sure.
That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, I mean, a better PC would definitely do that.
Yeah. Well, thank you, gentlemen. Thank you for indulging me. I've been thinking about this all day, about how everyone has just been killing themselves to jump at the feet of Sony and Xbox, and how everything has just been handled so badly with this pre-launch stuff.
But also to include the pre-launch woes is the new 3080 graphics card.
Oh yeah, I know it's a whole. I get it, and
so it's.
Yeah.
I mean, it's affecting everywhere. So if you are chasing new shiny on PC,
it happens.
Same thing to you. Good luck.
It happens. It happens there too. I'm not saying it doesn't. But if you just got a mid-level PC that could play Destiny at 60 frames at 4K or even 1440, if you don't care about, I found out today that only 40% of Americans even have a 4K TV, and in Africa it's 8%. So this is not a worldwide thing.
And here's the thing also. A bit of advice for those that are chasing after a computer for cheap. Whatever computer or laptop you may decide to use, because laptops can function very similar nowadays to towers.
Sure.
But whatever you're getting, like for gaming purposes, don't use anything with just an integrated graphics card system.
Yes, do not do that. Modular only.
Yes. Get something, if it doesn't say AMD or what is it, ATI?
GTX or AMD.
Yeah,
or,
GTX,
yeah, or
ATI,
not,
GeForce, whatever.
Right.
If it says Intel graphics, don't do it. You're not going to be able to play crap.
Yeah. Well,
I tried.
PCs.
Like, I knew better, but I still tried on Destiny 2 because my laptop for podcasting,
Right.
I paid like $400 for.
Right.
It has an i5.
Mm-hmm.
It has 16 gigabytes of memory.
Nice.
It has all the stuff to be able to play a game well, but it was Intel graphics.
Bottlenecks.
I could not play Destiny 2. I think it might have gotten me like 12 frames a second.
Oh my God. Yeah.
So yeah.
You want to
Don't
make
do
sure it's made for gaming. It needs to be a gaming
Yes.
PC. But I'm telling you, if you were just to poke into Newegg or Amazon, just poke around and look at gaming, just search gaming PCs, you would be blown away with how many PCs are available for you to play right now
And
not have to wait.
if you don't know any of those sites, shoot a DM to Burning Wayne.
Yes.
He is like knee deep.
The man
in deals.
knows his stuff.
Yes. Yeah,
Like,
he
good
really.
God.
Yeah. Burning Wing wants to take money out of your pocket. He really, truly does.
And not even that much. Like I was looking for an alternative for my phone to be able to use a better microphone.
Mm-hmm.
Within 10 minutes, he gave me like alternatives. And it's like, are you kidding me, dude?
The man works in tech, so he knows his stuff. Yeah, I think I actually bought my two 4K monitors early in the Dad's Tales Discord. He posted a deal in the Discord and I immediately clicked it and I bought two of them and they work great. They're only 60 megahertz, but I don't have any issues with screen tear. I don't have any issues with that. And I play it like the next setting below 4K, easily 60 frames fixed VSync all day long. And that was on a GTX 1060 card, by the way, which is outdated already. So Destiny is so well optimized, it doesn't take a giant supercomputer to run it. I even played it on my wife's utility laptop at 30 frames. It hiccuped and sputtered and did not like what it was doing. But I plugged my PS4 controller in my wife's laptop and started playing Destiny. It was awesome. I'm telling you.
That's one thing I was super amazed by, was the fact that how quickly the game actually does switch.
It's amazing.
To controller input.
And especially
even if it's barely running,
yeah,
you plug in that controller, it's like there.
Especially if you're like
inputs now.
If you're like me, where all you play is Destiny, and you just want to future-proof yourself and not have to be relying on a console, I'm telling you, a mid-level PC will play it all day long for years to come. Just a minute, I just wanted to cry out there about that because so many people have been fretting about these stupid consoles, and for the first time in my life, because I bought a PC a long time ago, I don't have to worry about it. Swear to God, I'm not being a smart ass. I'm not trying to say frames over friends and all that shit. I'm telling you, it is a fantastic experience that I don't have to wait for a next gen console to do. I'll leave it at that.
Nice.
Until the next iteration.
Well,
until Destiny 3.
Yes.
The new engine, the slipstream.
Oh God, here we go. All right, let's. You know what? This has been too serious a talk. Let's move on to some lighthearted stuff. Let's move on to our Discord and our Twitter questions. Be right back. All right, boys and girls, it's that time of the week. I love this part of the show. I don't know about you, Hazel, but I just love these questions have been so good. This is where we talk about our questions from our community. And like I say, it's my favorite part of the show. I'm going to start with one from Laz. Question for the show. What's the latest song that's become an earworm for you, a.k.a. stuck in your head? For me, it's Shut Up and Drive by Rihanna. Oh, just listen, just hearing that, it's already in my head. Because my 3-year-old is on a Wreck-It Ralph watching spree. Very nice. Des, we always go to our guest first. You got an answer?
Potentially. I mean, it kind of goes back to the whole, like, the songs for the playlist thing.
Sure.
I don't listen to a lot of music anymore. I haven't like since pre-2010. But right now, like, if I have an earworm, it's going to be some K-pop song, because that's like, ever since Psy came out, it's like, hey, this is actually pretty interesting. And then I got my wife listening to Psy, and she like delved into like the wide world of K-pop. And legitimately, like, one of the last songs I had stuck in my head was Go Go by BTS. So
Right. Okay.
that was a while back, but yeah.
That's a good answer.
No judgment.
No,
judgment.
not at all. Hey, they're big, man. They're big.
Oh,
Hey,
they're
yeah.
freaking huge right now.
For me, there's a song. I've been on a Porcupine Tree bender, it seems. I love Porcupine Tree. It's a new group I just found out about, and I actually put one of their songs in our playlist in the last few episodes. But the one I've been really listening to this week is from their album In Absentia. It's called Blackest Eyes, so check that one out. I'll post it in our music section so you guys can hear it, but that's the one I cannot get out of my head, and I don't want to be the fan that's always putting the same group in, so I had to resist the temptation and not put it in. So, Hazel, what do you got? What's your little earworm this week?
Well, it's actually a song that I added this week. I had enough of it. I heard it for the first time today because it just came out today, and it just hit me, and I'm like, all right, I have to add this. I can't stop listening to it, so I'm going to, ruin somebody else's day by picking this. Let's go with this question from Chubby Wizard. Question for the show. Since it is football season, who can have a press conference and speak for a half hour without actually saying anything better than NFL coaches or a politician? Thanks. Love the show.
You know what I love about coaches is they don't want to be there. And they'll just say, you know what? F it. I'm going to say whatever I want to say.
Huh.
I love that. Especially Belichick. Anyway, what do you think, Des?
I'm gonna have to go with politicians. Pretty much one word: filibuster. It is a real word. Look it up, and then you'll learn that politicians are hands down the best at saying nothing while saying a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. My answer for this is going to be Gator. Moving on.
I knew you were going to say that. You think I'd be shocked by hearing that, but I knew when I heard you read this question, I knew exactly. I'm going to hold on. I got half an hour. Hold on a sec. I'm going to finish. As soon as you read, okay, I'm sorry. Okay. We got one from Kingsley Mack here. GTFO. Did I did this right? No. That was not supposed to be a question.
Whoops. Did I pin that by accident?
Yeah, you did. From Kingsley Mack himself, question for the show. What Destiny planet or location from Destiny 1 would you want to come back next? This is an easy answer for me, but Des, I want to hear what you have to say.
Given like new lighting and new textures and new details and stuff, I would love to see the Dreadnought come back.
Yeah, I think that wish is going to be fulfilled sooner or later. I really do.
Yeah.
Good answer. What do you think, Hazel?
That's my answer too. Would be the Dreadnought. But
Really?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
But
No judgment.
I think no judgment.
It's just great minds thinking alike.
All right.
Yeah, exactly. But just to be different, what I would say would be I'd like to see the reef and tour the reef.
Okay.
That's
All
definitely
right.
my number 2 as well.
Well, my number one, because I love the Ishtar Collective and the Ishtar Academy on Venus. It's Venus. I want Venus to come back. I love Venus. It was my favorite planet in Destiny 1. I've spent so many hours on that planet. So, yeah, that's my answer.
Hey, I got to go with this one. This is from Sweaty Spooks. This guy added like maybe like 30 questions in the SpeedRun question idea.
I marked them all down.
It is fantastic. I really like this guy.
I do too.
So, question for the show. Have you ever played Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, either 1, 2, or both? And if so, would you ever like to see either a remaster or a continuation of the series aside from the Old Republic Online MMO?
See, this is both an easy and a hard question for me. Because I love KOTOR.
Yeah.
I love Knights
Same
of the
here.
Old Republic. It is an amazing game. It was amazing 2 games, to be honest. Yes, I have played them. Yes, I spent way too much time on them. And yes, I would love either a remake or a continuation. I would have to probably wait more towards like some kind of remaster or remake, potentially, just for nostalgia reasons. But I would not be mad at a continuation either.
I would agree. I mean, I hope they do a remaster first. Because,
Great.
I mean, and I never played the second one. I only played the first one. And
that's so
then,
good.
yeah, life got in the way of the second one. But the first one, though, was amazing. I will never forget the ending of that game. I don't think anyone will. But yeah, definitely a remaster, and I would happily pay my money to say that and play that.
Mhm.
Sweaty Spooks, I love you, man. Don't judge me, please. I have never played those games. I was a die-hard 24 hours whenever I had a chance. I played Call of Duty online.
I mean, that was also BioWare, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
That did KOTOR, which would go on to do Anthem. Oh God, never mind.
Well,
Moving
no, I mean, no, they did Mass Effect after that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because the one thing that impressed me with KOTOR was it was the first Star Wars game that had moral choices, to where the more dark side you went, your character actually like reflected in their portrait. Like you would turn all like gray skinned and like veiny and crap.
Really?
So yeah, yes,
That's ahead of its time, man. That's awesome.
Oh,
yes,
yeah,
it was amazing because, like I said, the darker to the dark side you went, the more it would actually show on your character.
Wow.
And it was the first one, other than, like I said, because the Jedi Knight series did, of course, the different force powers and moral choices, but yeah, BioWare just knocked it out of the park.
Excuse
with
me.
how it affected you.
Hey, Bungie, take notes. Since we're getting pulled to the darkness, why couldn't they do that with us?
Right?
God, if they did that, I would just lose it.
Maybe that's part of the new system that they're putting in, so that way it'll make us look that way.
Have like a one of those Taken glows, or like that black spherical energy around you. Oh God, that would be awesome. Okay, I have one from Mrs. Hazelnut. Thank you for putting your question in today. Question for the show: have you ever had a crush on a video game character? That's a good question. What do you think, Des?
I'm sorry, but I got to point out that little grunt that Hazel made. Sorry, I have to point that out because it's hilarious. Sorry. That and who didn't play Street Fighter and have a crush on either Chun-Li or Cammy when they were kids, right? I mean,
okay, you win.
I got a better answer.
I mean, I'm just saying, just from that perspective, because I'm sure I did, but
that's pretty pixelated though back then.
They're kind of fleet. Hey, we worked with we worked with what we had.
I know. No, I know exactly what you're talking about. I just had more of a current gen.
I mean, that and people were crazy for Laura Croft and
yes,
3 triangles. I mean, come on.
She was on my list. She was on my list, but not the one I picked.
But yeah, I mean, so like I said, there was plenty of them, I'm sure, and I'm sure I've fallen for many of them, but I can't say any of them have really made a lasting impact for me. I'd say it's all forgotten in the past. Basically.
Sure. We're not kids anymore. I mean,
yeah. I mean, I would love to answer in more detail on what favorite I had.
Yeah.
But nah, I just don't have it.
Now, if you ask Jealous, he'd be able to tell you immediately. He says he's 20-something.
But But I guess for the answer, I'll go the Final Fantasy route and say Tifa
Okay.
from 7, potentially.
Now I got to get the game. Thank you.
Now I got to get the game. Yeah.
But again, you want to talk about someone that's like 3 triangles? I mean, But still, yeah. At least we had character art for that one, so.
You know, I'm going to leave
remake.
I'm going to leave the last answer for Hazel so he can answer the question. But mine was excuse me, ladies, I'm sorry, but any prostitute in GTA 4 was great. I'm telling you, I would follow them around on the sidewalk.
What?
I was such a perv. God, that's a soundbite. Damn it. Sin, don't you dare record that.
Sin, record it. Do
no.
It's already been done.
I know, right?
Let you finish that sentence.
I've got to think ahead more often. God, dang it. All right, Hazel, what's your answer?
So, taking this little trip down memory lane here, I actually had to go with Ashley Williams from Mass Effect. Because
fair.
I'm pretty sure that I would have let like a whole culture die if I were Shepard for her. So
yeah, that's a good answer,
fair.
man. I didn't even think about that.
I like this one. Chris 3711. Welcome back, buddy, by the way.
Yes.
Question for the show. What, if any, influences help keep you positive, or was it the turning point, or what was the turning point that just helped you say to yourself, I get it?
Well, I mean, it's not a very, happy or healthy instance, basically. But, I mean, one thing that definitely does keep me, a little more positive. I mean, I've had something of a darker past. I mean, before the age of 15, I've attempted to take my own life. It's rough. And it's like a darkness that I kind of live with. But I guess now it's more... I've been married for 12 years and I like to stick around for my family, so...
Sure.
Like I said, I've really started taking reign of my anger issues thanks to my family, and... So yeah. Like I said, everything I try to stick around for now is for my family.
Thanks for sharing that, man. I know there's someone out there probably that hears this and maybe thinks about that as their future as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, things can definitely turn around drastically because, like I said, before I met my wife, I never thought I would be married. I never thought I'd have, the happily ever after, deal, sort of. But, things turned around. It's been rough. It was rough. It probably will still be rough. But it's something I'm worth fighting. It's something that it's worth fighting for. So.
Yeah, and she corrected you. That's love, dude. I'm telling you, I've been married 27 years, and when they correct you, that's when they give a crap. So that's a good thing, man. Yeah.
Wow.
Do you have a?
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for sharing that, man.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Yeah. You have an answer for this, Hazel?
It's
a damn good question.
It is. And I don't really know when. I don't know. I guess I always viewed myself as a pessimist because I always was just like, fuck it all. We're all gonna die anyway, so fuck it. But it was funny. I had a job where I was training people. So when you're a trainer, you can't be that way.
Right.
So, yeah, really, fuck it, you're going to die anyway. Why do you care about learning this shit? That's a bad thing right there, I think. So, in the course of doing it, I basically kind of changed my own mindset because I had to kind of sell these people on wanting to stay with the company. And in the course of doing that, I kind of put on a happy face and was like, you know what? Shit's not really that bad. Shitty things happen, but you just gotta kind of pick yourself up and keep moving and don't dwell on those bad moments. And if you do dwell on them, be there for all it's worth, and then just know that you can get past it. even if you don't seem like you can, then reach out for some help, that kind of thing.
Mhm.
And it was just in the course of it, I just kind of became this optimistic guy in the course of just training people. It was a really weird thing for me.
It was your calling, man. Well,
Seems like it.
Yeah. Seems like that's what you excel at. Yeah. I mean, I don't know your life, but from what I've heard,
You don't know me.
You don't know
You
me,
don't know my
man.
life.
You don't know me, man. Okay, I can remember this. This was probably the biggest turning point in my young adult life. Is I was 24 years old. I was still living at home, and that's when I just met my wife, future wife, and I was getting in debt. I was already getting in the credit card game, and when you're in college, they offer you credit cards like ad nauseum, and I was like, oh, free money, all right. And I got myself in a hole. And guess what? When you rack up credit card debt, it means you're working for credit card companies. So I was down in the dumps, and my dad walked up to me, and God damn, I got to not break down just saying this, but he comes up to me. It's the best advice he's ever given me. He said, son, it's time. He says, you got to stand up and be counted. And man, did that drive home. That hit me like a ton of bricks. And to this day, it still does.
Yeah.
It was like him saying, you're now a man. It's time, man. It's time to quit being a kid. You gotta go do it, man. My son's going through this right now, by the way. It's the reason it came to mind. Someone broke in his car, and the little things. He doesn't have full coverage. His car's not worth it, And it was $200 for a rear window. He has to cover rent. His future wife, I'm assuming, is at an internship right now as a teacher, and they don't pay him anything, or very little. So it's on him. It's on him, He's got to cover the rent. He's got to get the groceries. He's got to do it all. He just graduated college, and he just got a really good job at a hospital up there in IT, and he's making more money than he could ever believe he could make out of school. And he said, Dad, it's so hard. I said, buddy, just keep in mind your girlfriend's going into an internship, and this is all temporary, dude. Just roll with it. You know what? This is the role of a man, is you gotta stand up, and you gotta carry the load sometimes. And that means you gotta do it for her. So sorry, getting a little too serious here, but yeah, damn you, Chris. He knows how to answer. He knows how to get some good questions out there.
Right.
Okay, I'm going to go more lighthearted question here. This one's from our buddy Admiral Nips. Thank you for putting a question in here, bud. Question for the show: why does getting old suck so much? I roughhouse with my nephews for 20 minutes today, and while I'm in the best shape of my life, he does a lot of weight training, I still hurt everywhere tonight. How do parents handle it on a daily basis? Des, you have kids. What's it like?
I have one daughter who is 17.
Oh.
I know, right? Well, I mean, I have to kind of explain this because I wasn't there for the early years, because she calls me dad, but I've been in her life since she was 4 years old. Mm-hmm. So I've been through from 4 to now, which is a roller coaster in and of itself.
Yeah.
And is nightmarish. And I loved also, I believe Laz's answer to that. We really don't. You don't handle it. You just kind of go the best you can.
It's like it's like momentum. You just keep moving.
Exactly. It's like, yeah, what? What is getting old suck so much? I mean, I dread the days I actually get older, because things are falling apart.
Yeah.
Very fast for me. I worked way too hard for way too long in my life to end up basically kind of nowhere-ish. And yeah, it's already taking a toll. So yeah, it's awful.
yeah, I get it.
It's awful.
I get you, man.
Yeah. I would say it sucks because the alternative is worse.
Yeah.
Boy, you said that right.
Yeah, that's like nail on the head right there.
Yeah. How do you follow up that answer? I'll just say this for you young guys out there. Okay, let's just say I'm north of 45. Okay, let's leave it at that. The thing with getting at that age and the kids thing, I think you guys explained it well enough there. I dealt with the same problems you guys did. As you get older, as far as bending over and doing just menial stuff like wrestling with your nephews, when you get older, usually when you get young, you get sore the next morning, right? After it's lifting weights or whatever. When you get older, it's hard to explain. It's like a ripple in water. It's not exactly the day. It's like 2 days after. And you're not used to it at first because you're like, whoa, why can't I getting out of bed? Whoa, what the hell? And then you realize, oh yeah, 2 days ago, I really pushed it. And, right now I'm dealing with a hamstring in my leg and actually sitting is more uncomfortable than standing and walking around. It's crazy. It's hard to understand, but, yeah. So I think you guys nailed it on the head. I don't really have much to add there. So good question, Nips.
Yes.
Why don't we take one more each, Hazel? That sound good?
Sure. I'm going to go with this one. It's a nice, easy one. So, have you been watching any good anime lately? If so, what? Jortwingo Master O Moist.
That's Jortwing 0.
Yeah, he does that just for Chris's benefit. He puts moist in his name just so Chris can hear it in the podcast every week.
I'm sorry, but I do also have to correct that because hilariously, back early in Derp, one of my first meetings with Burning, it popped into a stream that I was doing, like a raid or something or another. And I didn't realize he was in Derp also. But I read his name, and it was Burning Wing 0. And I'm like, oh my god, that's hilarious. It sounds like 2 names of Gundams. And he's like, yeah, that's exactly where I got it. And it's like, oh. So, yeah, that's cool. And then Holden and Mayer told me, oh yeah, he's in Derp. I was like, oh, well, crap. And yeah, that was the start of a awful friendship, and no one should ever talk to Burning at all. Anyway, but to answer the question, no, technically, because I've been reading the Dragon Ball Super manga and haven't really found anything super interesting anime-wise really catch my attention so far.
Oh, well, you know what my answer is going to be. Let's just move on. Hazel?
The only thing I'm watching is Pokemon. And even my wife is starting to really, really get into it because there's some serious shit going on and battles and shit like this. And my wife's like, this is kind of mature, but she's like, I like it. So it might be a gateway drug for her. And I'm kind of digging this. I'm like, this might work out really well for her.
Excellent.
Nice.
Okay, last question of the night. This is from Jealous. He posted this a while back. So tonight I was filling up my car with gas. It did the auto shut off when the gas tank level reached the nozzle. It clicked at the exact number and I didn't have to fill up to the next dollar. Has this ever happened to you? I consider this good luck. What are your thoughts? Des?
I don't think I've ever actually experienced that.
Really? Okay.
I think I've always had the auto shut off, like, odd. I don't think it's ever exactly like shut off like and filled up as needed on what I consider an acceptable amount, which is to the nearest quarter.
You're a topper.
Yeah.
Okay.
Totally.
Gotcha.
Completely. It has to be like, ideally, yes, the next dollar, but I settle for quarters, 25, 50, 75.
I do it too.
Yeah. It's, I don't know. It's a thing.
It's a gamer thing, isn't it? I guarantee you. It's in our gamer brain. If it's got to be an even amount, it's got to make sense.
Right.
What about you, Hazel? Has that ever happened?
Yeah, it has. It's funny. It's like I know it's happened that way, and also it's stopped on 99 cents before.
Oh,
I know, right? It's like and I'm not a topper. I don't go over either. I'm like, what it is it is. So yeah, it's 50 cents, 99 cents, and $1 before. So yeah,
it's happened to me a lot. I fill up my truck a lot. I burn through gas, especially diesel, a lot because I'm just driving around with heavy equipment all the time. And yeah, I do consider it good luck, Jealous. It's happened to me several times, and it seems like my day's gone a little better. Now, I am a topper. Like tonight even, I was filling up, and it was at 46, 47. I was like, no, that's going to 47. I'm not leaving here until that's 47. Because then when I look on my statement, I'll go, yep, okay, that was that time I filled up. So yeah, but you know what? You have to be in the mood for it. Sometimes you'll just go, like Hazel, just go F it. It's full. Let's go. You know? It depends on the car, too. I don't
think I ever have.
It depends on the car. My Explorer has some kind of special nozzle. It doesn't require a cap. And when I've rolled that dice before, and it's like, no, I said it's full.
Yeah.
And it spits back at you, and I'm like, okay, it's full. I'm done.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, if I ever had a car spit back at me, yeah, probably. Yeah. It's like, okay, fine, you win.
Ford is serious about those nozzle-less gas tanks. It's crazy, man. Well, hey, everybody. Thank you for those questions. If we did not get to your question this week, we definitely will save them. Oh, by the way, Jealous wanted to know, Hazel, if you had the poker app done yet.
Oh, shit.
Did you forget it again?
I did,
okay.
Unfortunately.
Next time, rain check.
Yes, exactly. Yes, I am working on it diligently.
Okay, just want to make sure. So we didn't answer your question, Jealous, this week. We will get to it soon. Soon. Well, I'll just say that we'll get to it soon. But we never forget questions you put in our Discord questions. So there's 3 ways you can reach us. You can send a SpeakPipe, speakpipe.com/GuardianDownCast, all one word. Or, of course, our Twitter. You can DM it, or you can just post it to us. It is Guardian_D_cast. And, of course, our Discord, which is #podcast questions in our main Discord. So thank you again, everybody, for sending those questions in. And then finally, we're going to wrap up tonight as a final part of our show. We'd like to pick our songs for our award-winning Guardian Downcast show playlist. It's a little sample of what all of us like to listen to here. And we invite you to listen to it as well. Just search for Guardian Downcast show playlist on Spotify, and of course it's on iTunes as well. The links are in our Discord, or sometimes I even put them in our show notes. So, Mr. DeSRaven, sir, thank you for coming on tonight, by the way.
Yes, indeed.
What songs do you have for us tonight, sir?
Well, let's say it was award-winning, but potentially these might sabotage it.
Hey, it's all right. It's already happened. We're good.
But
you don't. Wait a minute. You don't have a Nickelback song, do you?
No.
Okay, we're good.
Definitely. Even though I will admit a guilty pleasure, the song, what it was,
Photograph,
like Nickelback. No, it was Nickelback and Chad Kroeger that did the song for Spider-Man.
Okay.
Hero.
Yeah, that. I love that song. I don't care who did it. I don't care. I don't care who knows. I love that song. So screw you all. I love that song.
No,
anyway,
no judgment.
But no, so my songs are, I definitely thought very long and hard about it, and then realized that I could have potentially did what I playfully threatened that I was going to do, and potentially add songs as the show was happening. But that didn't happen. But no, so there's like a 12-year age gap between me and my older brother.
Okay.
So while he was discovering, because this is also basically around the time I was more into music, but I was more influenced by his flavor of music, which he was like the 80s rocker. So I listened to a bunch of Gwar, Wasp, Kiss,
nice. Night Ranger,
Scorpion, doesn't ring a bell. I'm sorry.
Oh, damn. I just got told.
Sorry. But Scorpion,
Scorpions are great.
Skid Row, crap like that.
Yes.
Anywho, my favorite band of all time, for even today, is Metallica.
Oh. Okay.
And of course, a lot of people, especially now, know Metallica. They know their sound. They have a sound. But I decided to add something that isn't a Metallica sound. And it was one of my favorite songs off their Load album. And it's called Mama Said. So if you go and listen to the song, don't expect your normal Metallica, like heavy metal sound. This is actually, hilariously, probably my favorite country sounding song.
Really? Okay.
because it's definitely a country like vibe to the instruments, but the song, of course, like tells a story, essentially. And I've always loved it. Karaoke people have never had it, or else I would have sang it. But yeah, so like I said, it's Metallica, but it's a different flavor, and it's definitely back in the era. Because, Load was right after the Black Album,
Right.
and it's when they really started playing around with different sounds. Is like Black Album, Load, Reload a little bit before settling back into the Metallica sound.
Chubby Wizard would love
But yeah. but no, so yeah, that's my first pick.
Okay, good pick.
And then my second pick is a little more of what I've gotten into listening to, and this group actually gatewayed me into into listening to basically what is video game music that is covered by people. Now, normally I go to like a Overclock Remix, which is a site that all their music is completely free. You like search out a game name, and it will show you like every composition that's been done that they keep on their website for said game. But this band has nothing to do with that site. Great segue. But this is a band called Power Glove who do metal covers to video games and TV shows. And I'll just say the name because 3 guesses to what TV show this applies to. But this is Power Glove, Gotta Catch 'Em All. And a caveat to that is this is the instrumental version because Spotify doesn't have the version with the lyrics. But if you like it, I highly suggest looking for the lyrics because the lyrics send it to like a whole nother level. But yeah.
Very nice, man. Hazel.
Well, I just want to say I listened to this because I know what it's from, and
Yeah.
I absolutely loved it, and I played it for my daughter too, just to see what she would think of it, and she didn't. She was not a fan.
Really?
I think she's more of a fan of Nickelback than she was of the song.
I don't know. She said to give it a few weeks.
No, that was give it a few years.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yes.
Sorry, I missed that one. Wow.
So yes, but yes, I definitely I like the version with the words too. So if Spotify ever adds that, then I will add it myself to our playlist.
Nice.
So my 2 songs. Well, I'll go with this one. This is the earworm question from Laz that I had to add. It is called "One Too Many" by Keith Urban. It's a brand new song. It's with him and Pink actually, and this was one of those things. Like I just had it on. I mean, my infamous thing that I always say is, I was just had it on Spotify. I was just listening to new music. This just randomly came on, and it hit me like right in the chest. It's pretty bluesy. Kind of starts off a little slower, but after you get past that, the rest of it is just really bluesy and just awesome. So there's that, and then. The other song was I was trying to find a song called Home Sweet Home by Think Up Anger. And unfortunately, it wasn't on Spotify. So I had to go with not really the original version of Home Sweet Home by Motley Crue, but actually a version of it featuring Chester Bennington, so formerly of Linkin Park.
Yeah.
So... Yes, and this is just
nice.
A great song anyway, and this is from the trailer for Haunting of Bly Manor. So yes, it's fantastic. I can't wait for the show.
Funny story. I was talking to my wife on a walk. I said, "Have we ever seen Haunting on Hill House?" She goes, "No." I said, "Well, Hazel says he's going to watch the new one called Haunting of Bly Manor." I'm like, "No, we're not watching any of that stuff." Ever since my wife brought me to see Paranormal, I have not watched these crazy head game horror movies. I just can't do it. Not so funny a story, but
what I would say would be this: watch Haunting of Hill House because there's only like 1 or 2 scary things that happen per episode, and they're never really that scary.
Okay,
but that show has more heart than anything else. I mean, it will hit you completely and take the wind out of you at the end of it. It's it's fantastic.
Might watch it on the side. We'll see.
Yeah.
Well, good
Also-
picks, man.
Yeah. Also, Paranormal Activity actually is one of the few movies that actually scared the holy crap out of me.
Dude, I did not sleep with my feet over the cover. I had my covers on. I never had my feet sticking out beyond that bed, any mattress area at all for months. It messed me up.
Yeah, it was a masterpiece of a movie because, like I said,
Boy, it sure was.
We had to cut the lights on. I mean,
I know, man. I know exactly where you're going. It's in that last scene when he wakes up, when she's, I won't spoil it, but it's just, dude, I had nightmares, and I'm a full grown ass man. I had nightmares for months, dude.
You know, I swear that movie like desensitized me to horror. Because, I mean, at least Paranormal Activity 2 was about on the same level, but it just didn't affect me the same way.
Nothing's like the original.
I swear it just desensitized me to that kind of crap.
Yeah. It's like the Grudge. Those movies just mess with me, man. Okay, how'd we get on that topic? Yes. Anyway,
that movie was fucking terrible.
I know, but it still was. Anyway,
wait, which one?
Wait a minute. What was the one where if you watched the video, you watched the videotape?
The Ring.
The Ring. That was it.
No, that was different.
That was a masterpiece of a movie too.
I mean, that's what I'm talking about. Like, you're talking about The Grudge, as in the American-made.
Yes,
right?
Yes. It's what reminded me of Grudge. It's a very similar movie. Yeah.
Because that was a Japanese horror movie.
Yes, exactly. Adapted.
Was trying to make.
Right.
That's what I was trying to like think of. Because I mean, the Japanese one was probably awful because it was way earlier, so certain things probably don't.
Right.
Age well, but yeah. Anywho, sorry.
No, it's all right. It's all right. I'm very good for tangents, unfortunately, for Hazel. Okay, for my first pick tonight, I went old school this week, kinda. Both my songs are I'm just feeling nostalgic this week, I guess. This progressive rock supergroup formed in London in 1970 and was the band to listen to in the 70s. They were the musicians' band of choice back in the day, with 9 certified gold albums and over 48 million records sold worldwide. This well-known trio adapted classical music and jazz into its rock agenda, and with their distinct sound, especially from the Hammond organ and the Moog synthesizer, you know how I like my synthesizers, one listen, and I knew it was all good. My song I chose tonight is off their 4th album from 1972, and it's one of their more chill and relaxing songs. So many great childhood memories listening to this song on the radio when I was riding in the car with my mom and dad. It immediately pops up this image when I hear it. It's the song From the Beginning from the supergroup Emerson, Lake, and Palmer. So damn good. Gotta listen to it. For my second pick, this American heavy metal band formed in Atlanta, Georgia in 2000 and has been nominated for 5 Grammy Awards and finally won the Grammy in 2018 for Best Metal Performance. They've released 7 studio albums and several side projects throughout the years, and actually my song choice is off one of those projects. So from the single Stairway to Nick John, which was honoring their longtime band manager, by the way, of the same name, it's their 2019 remake of the classic Stairway to Heaven by the group Mastodon. It's a really good rendition of the song, and you gotta listen to it. It's really good. As requested, Mrs. Gator's chosen a song for this week, and this is what she says. I went mainstream this week with a pick off Keen's latest album, Cause and Effect. The song really has great lyrics, and this is no exception. And the song is The Way I Feel by Keen. I don't know. I thought it was pretty soft, but Zan did not have a song this week. I figured he put 2 in last week. And you know what? He probably said, I'm good. I'm good this week. I didn't hear from him, so I figured, he felt bad knocking Sin and Kingsley off the mountain. So maybe he felt bad. I don't know. Anyway, well, I just want to let everybody know that I do post our playlist picks. I'll try to put some videos in our music and TV channel in our Discord. Probably one of each of us that we picked tonight. So I'll look and see what videos are out there for our 3 songs that I want to pick, and we'll put them in there. Guys, that's a wrap. It's another episode in our collection. For all you listeners out there, we have 62 62
other
other
besides this one.
episodes, yes, with interviews from gamers all over our community. So if you've missed us, you're just finding out about us, check those past episodes out. We've got some really good interviews in there from over a year ago. So just a bit of housekeeping. We have a quick reminder that we now have a Destiny 2 clan, and Hazel and I invite you all to be part of it. If you're looking to find a clan before Beyond Lighter Eyes, now would probably be a good time to jump in, get to know some of these great gamers that are in our clan. We're not hardcore. Enjoying what you have time to do in Destiny is all we ask. So if you are looking for a clan out there, we have a permanent link in our Discord under the channel GDC2 Clan, where you can find a link. Otherwise, look for our name, Guardian Downcast, or DOWN as our call sign. We do ask that you join our Discord first so we can communicate with you. And, you can find out what's going on in the clan. Mr. DeSRaven, thank you very much for coming on tonight.
It's been an honor.
We had some great conversations tonight. This was gold, man.
Did.
I didn't know, honestly, I'm honestly here. I didn't know much about you. And, I've listened to you on, Guardian Hub for a long time now. And, I'm so glad you came on tonight, man. I know it was short notice. We had a guest that, was going to be on tonight and is dealing with the California fires right now, and had to say, listen, I'm having to deal with family issues right now, and so we'll see him later. I won't tell who it is. I'll let it be a surprise. So thank you, man. Thank you for filling in for us.
It is an incredible pleasure, which one thing I will definitely say. Previously, my past podcasting experience, RNG, was a very special time. Because, it was a group and we just had a certain chemistry. Things flowed a very specific way. Like I said, my headspace during that time wasn't incredible, but like I said, it was still a fun time. The community was great. And I've got to say, out of a lot of people I listen to, what you guys have here is the best reflection of what we had. So...
Wow. That's saying a lot.
Yeah. The chemistry you guys have, just the way you work off of each other. It just, like I say, it reminds me of what we had, like the closest, bar none.
You can't see us, but I got the biggest smile on my face right now.
And that's one reason I was interested in coming in. Of course, like I said before, I half-heartedly throw out inviting myself to places or saying, oh, hey, But yeah, I was kind of hoping I would be able to come on because, like I said, and it turned out to be just as awesome as I thought. So, thank you,
nice man,
for bringing me in.
You were on our short list, trust me. And when this happened, I was like, "Oh, this is our chance, Hazel. This is our chance, man." So, thank you, man. Yeah, it's an honor that you came on tonight.
Yes,
no, it's like I said, y'all are carrying a very twisted and distinct torch.
It is that.
Which will hopefully go much further than what we did. So
thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Well, like I said, the honor is mine.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate it. I would be remiss if I didn't ask if there was anything you wanted to put out there as far as how people might want to contact you. If you want that, it's up to you.
Let's see. You could always, of course, find me on Twitter at DES_Raven. Because, without an underscore was taken. Because first world Twitter problems.
Is it like a 5-year-old girl that has it? I think that's a problem Dan Finity had.
I think it was a female. At least the profile picture was. But, of course, hasn't posted in years.
Of course.
But, so yeah, I settled for that. And, of course, you can find me co-hosting over at the Guardian Hub, which we do have a website, the guardianhub.com, net, com?
I think it's .com.
Kings is going to kill me.
No, it's .com.
Crap, I don't even remember my own plugs. Anyhow.
.org.
Potentially, apparently I don't know. But yeah, so... And that's pretty much it, because you can, of course, find me in that Discord, this Discord. I'm always lurking and always eager for conversation, because I just love... I say it all the time, but I love conversing with people. I love finding out opinions. I love seeing different views because, I mean, that's how we mesh. That's how we learn. That's how we grow, is understanding one another. So
I will say you have that mastered. You are damn good person to talk to about stuff. I love it. So
thank you.
Hazel, what's all your particulars?
We'll go with Hazel NT, anywhere and everywhere.
Nice. God, I love that branding, man. You can contact me via the Twitter at Todd the Gator. Remember, that's Gatr. You can also find me on YouTube, Steam, and PS4 as Gator, all caps, Gatr, underscores in between, and Gator, Gatr, space GDC on Xbox. Night Demon, I'm cranking it back up, man. I'm going to get that account moving again, so you'll see me there. You can also find us on whatever podcast app you use, and you can listen to it directly if you like on your PC or laptop or whatever. Just go to guardiandowncast.com. You can email us at guardiandowncast@gmail.com, and we're on Twitter at Guardian_D_cast for show questions, whatever you guys want to talk to us about. Our DMs are open, I think. Like I said, guardiandowncast.com if you want to know all the details. We have a bunch of great gamers in our Discord as well. It's a really great bunch. Every morning I just wake up and talk to everybody, say good morning. It's really a lively Discord, I think. Just search for Guardian Downcast, and I always post a link in our show notes if you want an invite to come say hi. And now we're on Instagram, thanks to Mr. Hazelnut. He is our Instagram man. Just search for Guardian_Down_Cast. And we're trying to start adding things relating to our show, especially our guest. And I'm sorry, Des, I didn't mention this to you, but would it be possible to get a picture of anything about your life or yourself? It could be a picture of your guardian, a logo, anything you want. If you could put that in our show notes, our Discord show notes. And Mr. Hazel will be glad to put it in our Instagram if you like.
Definitely.
I'll have something worked out soon.
Excellent. That's what I love to hear.
Sounds ominous.
I love it. And Hazel will have to deal with it.
It might not be all ages, just saying.
It's okay. We're fine.
That works. Whatever.
But yeah. So on one final note, I will say I may not have won the speedrun, but I got a feeling I've got like one of the longest episodes yet. So I still win.
We are definitely. We can't help it. The conversations have been so great. Why cut all that? That's what people are here to listen to. So yeah, good deal. Hey everyone, if you like what you're listening to, do us a big favor, spread the word for us. Hit that share button, whatever podcast app you use. Leave us a review if you like on iTunes. We appreciate that as well. And if we get a review from you, we might sound it out on the show. And to make our week complete, how about a brand spanking new Scumdeath's Corner? Take it away, Mr. Scumdeath.
Guess who's back? Hello, and welcome to Scumdeath's Corner. I'm back. After 13 hours of moving stuff today, we're finally in. All I've got to grab now is my petrol strimmer, which I'm just going to grab. It's about a 30-second walk down to the new house. And that's it. Everything is in. I'm absolutely fucking shattered. I've got a beer in my hand. And it's been a long day. I cannot move for piles of shit everywhere. I've lost the hinges to the big American fridge freezer. So the doors are held on by the suction magnets at the minute. So I'm in trouble with that. I'm stressed to the max. My head's up my ass. I stink. But it's all good. We're moved in. Just next couple of days, let's get it sorted. So just let you know that Scumdeath's Corner is back. So let's have it. Onwards and upwards, motherfuckers.
Uncle Scumdeath, thank you very much, buddy. We're really happy for you. I'm so glad you got moved in. This was part 2, by the way, of Uncle Scumdeath Corner from last week. So if you didn't hear it from last week, go back and listen to it. It's at the end of the show. So thank you, everyone out there, you guys and gals that support us and listen to our show. We hope you made your week at least a little less stressful with everything that's going on in the world right now with our lighter take on Destiny and gaming news. So continue to be safe, everybody. Take care of one another. Wear that mask in public.
Guardians are measured by their ability to come back from defeat. So stand. Fight!
And thank you all so very much for listening. And later, Guardian.
Toddles.
Stay magical.
Damn, you took Hazel's line. And Hazel, you took Sin's line. I love it. Doesn't get any better, man. Nice. Thanks, guys. That was awesome. Those conversations were awesome tonight.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna have fun listening and picking through that. But it was so much fun to have you on the night.
It was a blast.
I didn't know what to expect tonight, so I was like, okay. I'm so glad, man. It's such a great time.
A lot of
tonight.
tangents for sure.
Yeah. The engine talk got a little deep. I get it.
Predictions and things that Gator usually say on this show, such as taking the number off Destiny back in the day, the new engine, I about 80% agree with.